As soon as the ball is snapped, we gonna clash.
Oklahoma, national champions. They talking back to back, trying to tell the Sooner defense that it can't be done. With the sweet smell of roses in the air, running back when Griffin is on the tear. They got Deacon O, and oh yeah, almost forgot 18 in a row. But Kansas is a quick stop for sure.
Oklahoma is number 3. Also,
Arizona rebound, they gotta rely on quarterback Jason Johnson with 9 touchdowns. Sounds easier said than done. With this being the breakout game for Oregon State's Ken Simonton, who's long overdue. Doubleheader up next. Get ready for Oklahoma U.
better get ready for against the sex.
College football Saturday.
Next.
The Oklahoma Sooners arrive in Lawrence, Kansas, riding a nation's best 18-game win streak. Welcome to the Big 12 Game of the Week presented by Kyocera. It's the number 3 Sooners visiting the Kansas Jayhawks. And leading the way for the Oklahoma defense, the guy's the real deal. Safety Roy Williams, who leads the team in interceptions and is one of the game's top defensive backs. But that might be you smell. After back-to-back wins over Kansas State and Texas, and with a big matchup in Nebraska looming in 2 weeks, Bob Stoops and the Oklahoma Sooners can't afford to overlook a Kansas team that has beaten them in 3 of their last 4 meetings. But right now, Kellen, it seems like everything is clicking for Oklahoma, both offensively and defensively.
On the offensive side, the reason it's clicking is Quentin Griffin, their little running back, 5'6", a solid 183 pounds. The junior's having an outstanding year, leading the team both in receptions and in rushing yards, accounting for 6 touchdowns total. I tell you, Artie, when they need a play to be made, they go to Quentin.
And, you know, talking about touchdowns, this is a football team that is well-balanced, and they can score from any dimension of their team. Bobby Stoops has done a great job, not only with the offense, but the defense and special teams. In fact, if you take a look at this jumbo, you will see Oklahoma this year has scored 15 offensive touchdowns, 5 defensive touchdowns, and 2 special teams touchdowns. This team is balanced, and they always find a way not only to win, but to score points.
Is that 22 touchdowns total?
Yes,
I did the math. That's 22.
Thank you. Here's what I don't understand, Artie, and maybe you can help me, oh great one. Okay, all right. If you are the defending national champions, you're undefeated, why aren't you number 1?
I have no idea, but in the Artie Gigantino poll, Oklahoma is number 1. They should be number 1. They were champs last year. They've done nothing not to be number 1 this year. All they've done is win and win big games.
Who's sponsoring your poll? Nobody is. The reason Oklahoma's not number 1, Artie, because they're not the best football team in the nation. It's Miami, Kevin. They proved it today.
No bias there, huh?
None whatsoever.
Bias. Hey, Florida's good, Miami's good, UCLA's good, but Oklahoma's number 1.
Would you pick a bandwagon and stay on it?
I'm staying on the Sooners.
Oh, the magic has already started. Before we leave, a quick baseball update.
With the fall colors in the background, it is homecoming weekend in the Midwest, in Lawrence, Kansas. College football Saturday presented by Kyocera continues. Number 3 Oklahoma matching up with the Kansas Jayhawks. Hi, everybody. Joel Myers along with James Lofton, and welcome to Lawrence. Well, these 2 teams will be watching tonight coming off their biggest wins of the year. Oklahoma knocking off Texas last Saturday for the 2nd consecutive season. And for the Kansas Jayhawks, desperate for a road victory, and they got it in double overtime over Texas Tech.
I think everybody around the country knows how big a win it was for Oklahoma over Texas. Well, an equally big win for Kansas, and Terry Allen to come back here 2-2. And I really believe that it gives them a little momentum that they're going to need today against Oklahoma.
Well, Sooner quarterback Nate Hibble did not finish the game last week. He was knocked out late in the first quarter with a shoulder injury, but he will definitely start today, James.
Yeah, and there's no quarterback controversy in Norman, Oklahoma. And I really believe that now Bob Stoops can look at his ball club and say, we have a backup quarterback in Jason White who can lead this team, and now the players can be confident in that guy who's been carrying the clipboard.
Big question mark for Kansas coming into the game. Can they move the football against one of the best defensive units in the country? Catalyst last week was little Reggie Duncan.
Yeah, Reggie Duncan has to get those little legs working this week. Last week, 227 yards rushing against Texas Tech. He's going to need that type of effort to play keep away against the Sooners today.
Joining us now, the 3rd member of our team, a guy that majors in homecoming, Eric Clemens. Eric?
All right, Joel and James, thank you very much. Beautiful night for football so far. You know, the OU defense has proved its worth really all year long. football, especially last week, by keeping a high-powered University of Texas offense out of the end zone for an entire game. That unit is anchored by linebacker Rocky Calmus. He has 56 tackles to lead the team so far this year and is on pace to have 148. He has been everything that embodies OU football over the past 3 years: toughness, athleticism, and of course determination. He also has a fumble and interception return for a touchdown this year. Kansas's offense will see plenty of number 20 when they have the ball on the field here at Memorial Stadium tonight. So the Jayhawks are ready. The Oklahoma Sooners are ready. James, Joel, and I will be ready for the opening kickoff when College Football Saturday returns in just a moment.
Welcome back once again as we continue from Lawrence, Kansas. What a setting. Weather has cooperated. Temperature right around 60 degrees, down into the mid-40s. About halftime. Couldn't ask for better conditions. This College Football Saturday presented by Kyocera continues with the number 3 team in the nation on the road for the second consecutive week. That is their longest road trip of the year. And our Holiday Inn Express Big 12 standings. We begin with the North. Man, I guess it goes for Lincoln, Nebraska once again this year.
And rightly it should, and everybody can point to that game on October 27th when the Sooners venture to Lincoln, Nebraska.
Over on the south side, well, Oklahoma made their statement last Saturday at the Red River Battle.
And I think it's a little bit of a mixed bag because no one expected that Colorado would kind of jump up and run past people.
The Sooners, led by third-year head coach Bob Stoops, 25-5. Only 2 other coaches got to 25 wins faster than Bob Stoops at Oklahoma. Can you spell Wilkinson as in Bud Wilkinson? And Barry Switzer as well. His counterpart, 5th-year head coach at Kansas, Terry Allen. Huge road victory last week. Former coach at Northern Iowa, where he got to work with one Kurt Warner. We'll have some fun talking about that a little bit later because Kurt really didn't get to start for Terry until his senior season. They won championships. They were a league champion for 3 years in a row before Kurt got his crack at it. And we are ready to go as Oklahoma will be back kicking it away for Kansas. It's going to be Johnny Beck. And brought back. Coming up, it's Curtis Fagan. From near the goal line, Fagan with a nifty move across the 20. Out to the 24-yard line. Kyocera starting 11 offensively. Brandon Weir made that stop on Fagan. Nate Hibble getting the call. Let's see how he holds up. The young man from Hazelhurst, Georgia, transfer after 1 season to the University of Georgia. Romero, Duncan, Carter, Skinner and Sims up front. And we'll be talking about the center, Carter in particular, Griffin, Norman, Fagan, along with Woolfolk, will also start at defensive back. And the tight end is Trent Smith. But the center, in particular, Vince Carter, he is a true freshman from Waco. Hibble out of the gun. Little floater. But not close to Jeremy Hasser. Check that quick. Griffin, his intended target. Defensively, can they slow down the Sooners? And the Sooners have had problems, don't forget, offensively. Up front, it's Watkins, Dwyer, along with Holloman and Dennis. Holloman back. Lost his mom, went to the funeral last week. Atkinson, Rogers, Etienne. The linebackers for Kansas. Davison and Ivy on the corners. Letourneau and Bryant are the safeties.
Letourneau. Is he French?
It's you make the call.
We'll see how he hits. 2nd
and 10 for the 24. Plenty of time. And thrown away. Over the head of Trent Smith, the tight end. So a good job of containing the quarterback by Kansas. With a little push too, James.
And I think that Terry Allen has gotten exactly what he's wanted the first 2 plays. He said, one thing we want to do, we want to start well early, and with Oklahoma having the ball, now facing a 3rd and 10, hopefully this crowd will get into the ball game behind the Jayhawks.
Marcus Rogers, who's senior from Roosevelt High School in Dallas, the catalyst defensively. He's led them in stops. Had a phenomenal game last week against Texas Tech. First 3rd down of the contest for Oklahoma. They're hitting almost 50% on the season. Hibble out of the pocket. Will he be able to pick it up? Yes. Smart move. Get out of bounds as well as he's run out by the quarterback, Carl Ivy. So a heady play by Nate Hibble. And just talking about the 2 that have done so well, Wilkinson and Switzer. Barry Switzer here on the sideline, as Bob Stoops has included all former Oklahoma alums.
Now, if I hadn't seen that little smile from Barry Switzer, the way he was chewing the gum, I would have thought that he was still coaching the Sooners.
But can the Sooners get it going offensively? Because they have bogged down recently. As their offensive coordinator Mark Mangino said, they went through some growing pains at the Cotton Bowl last Saturday. The biggest game of the year, and some positive things did come out of it. Movement up front. Dead ball foul against the offense. You can see the left side lift up early.
Yeah, it looked like Howard Duncan. He's moved from right tackle to left guard to try and give Vince Carter a little help there in the middle.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Referee is held down. I'm glad you brought that up, because they move over Duncan to guard, basically, as Mangino said, a little bit of a teacher next to the true freshman at center.
Yeah, and the interesting thing, Howard Duncan did play left guard last year, and Wes Sims, he moves out. Well, he was all Big 12 last year at tackle, so you make some moves. And Mangino, an offensive coordinator by trade, but you can tell he was at one time an offensive lineman.
From outside the 40, 1st and 15. The shovel. And diving for short yardage, Ronaldo Works out of Washington High School in Tulsa, tripped up by the young man we were just talking about, senior from Dallas, Marcus Rogers.
You know, sometimes you see that shovel pass and it's a design play. Here, that's just a little reverse option play. Going down the line, you don't see anybody open, you flip it to your tailback. That was not the play they called in the huddle, but a good job in improvising by Nate Hibble.
With just one offensive touchdown last Saturday, don't forget, only 205 yards from this group, the lowest output by that unit since Bob Stoops arrived. Second and about 13. Tight end. Smith only gets into the 45.
Yeah, he went into Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
You said it, partner. Is he ever pumped up? Honorable mention, all Big 12 last year.
A real physical player, and what you have to do, you have to be able to watch film, and he's watched enough film set. He knows the splits, he knows when they're going to cross, and you cross Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, he's going to try and crack you. He's just not going to wrap you up and take you gently to the turf.
Well, they've got two to each side now for Oklahoma in a 3rd and long. And look at that stacked line for Kansas. The blitz. And the bomb knocked away from the wide receiver. He tried to get it, but Quincy Rowe was there on the coverage.
I think Curtis Fagan's number 12, a little offensive interference there.
He looked like he was trying to swim over the defensive back that time as it was coming in. Fagan, the junior from Houston, he was honorable mention all Big 12 as well last year.
Now, I don't want to embarrass Fagan, but he had an interesting note. Last year, before every ball game, he wore the same pair of shorts, underwear.
Pass interference against the offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Try to keep it clean, will you? Keep it clean.
And he got a flag thrown on him for that.
So punting situation as Roger Ross is going to go back.
And you know, you saw Bob Stoops there. He's not overly upset because he said, we want first downs every drive because we want to win that field position battle.
Ferguson, first team all Big 12 last year. Comes in with a 45-yard average. Ross will take it without the fair catch and beats the first two down there. Still the great coverage, and that's one of the real hallmarks of this team since Bob Stoops came in. They get it done. Roy Williams. We see the first teamers. They're playing on special teams as well offensively. Mario Kinsey, the redshirt freshman out of Waco, Texas, likes to run it a lot. Offensive line, Sam Smith, also Nick Smith, Grady, and Hartwig. Same five most of the way this year with Duncan in the backfield. Ross, Fulton, and Goodrich, the two wideouts. David Hurst is the tight end. Kinsey did not start last week, though. He left a little bit early on a Friday. It was bye weekend, and he wanted to get home to Waco. So he did not get the start last week. Came off the bench for the winning drive. Nifty moves. And he gets about 3 out to the 16-yard line. Defensively, This is the power play for Oklahoma this year once again. Heineke, Klein, Harris, and Wilkerson, their 4-3 alignment. Sensational linebackers. Moore, Lehman, former sprinter in high school, and Rocky Kalmus, first-team All-American last year. Woolfolk, who starts at wide receiver, starting a corner tonight, straight as well on the corner. Roy Williams, all-world with Everidge at the other safety. Spinning out of the backfield, Reggie Duncan brought down by Everidge. Out near the 18.
You know your assignments. You know you have to block Rocky Kalmus. A lot easier said than done because there's a double team block going on between the guard and the right tackle to start. And that's actually a good job coming off at the end, number 65, Kyle Grady, just to get a piece of Kalmus.
Well, the key, as the Kansas coaches told us, don't give up points when you're on offense. Oklahoma majors in that. Scoring on defense. Kinsey scrambling. Will he get there? No. Great pursuit. Catching up with him. Heineke, the left end. Senior from Edmond, Oklahoma.
So many stars on this Oklahoma defense. You talk about one guy who's all world. And the minute I hear that, I start thinking, are we shortchanging the other 10 guys? Because all these guys are great in their own right. And they really hustle and they get to the football.
Chris Terrell will handle the punting today because of an injury to Curtis Ansel, who has a strained hip. As the coaches said, his leg is fine. He's got average hands, though. Terrell wobbles one out. Sooners will stay away from it. Not a long one. Kansas gets a few yards out of the roll, though, but still Oklahoma. Great shape when we come back. No score, short field goal from Sooners. They've got it at their own 45.
With the blue hair?
We're there later. They invited us. We are attending the party. We're right there after the game. Welcome back. College Football Saturday presented by Kia Sarah continues from what a classic campus. Lawrence, Kansas. Joel Myers, James Lofton, Eric Clemens on the sideline. And Nate Hibble. And the Sooners get it back after picking up one first down, a punt their first possession. They've got it. Great shape at their own 45. Overload to the opposite side, the far side. It's a dump off. And good pursuit on the loss on the pitch, or the little catch by Griffin. Marcus Rogers again, and this is a young man that you've been talking about, Frank Romero, the left tackle.
And I think Romero has a lot of things going for him. Number one, his feet, and his feet come from the fact that he was a high school tight end. So those hands, good hand placement, gets his hands on the defensive lineman well. And a dinner guest. Well, he's gained about 45 pounds since he was a freshman, and pretty sure he's been invited out to a lot of meals.
A lot of barbecue in this neck of the woods. Lots of barbecue. The press box as well tonight, so close to Kansas City. Hibble staying out of the gun with 2 to each side. Second and long, waiting for Griffin to clear out, then throws it into the ground. Good idea. Time for us to take a timeout, though. Dr. Pepper game break. Let's head back to the studio and Kevin Frazier. Kevin.
Joel, unbeaten in 9th-ranked South Carolina, trailing Arkansas 10-7. Final seconds of the game. Daniel Weaver from 33 yards out to tie it. Carlos Hall with the block. South Carolina falls to 5-1 as Lou Holtz now falls to 0-2 when he goes to visit his former school. Big upset.
You said it, and Houston, not his staff, needed it at Arkansas. Boy, they played well in Little Rock. Dumping South Carolina. Now third about a dozen, 13. Hibble in trouble, and because of that, off-balance throw, not close to Antoine Savage. Took a shot at the end, too. Good pursuit. Catching up with him, Charlie Dennis, the right end.
Yeah, but a nice job up front by Tom Hayes, the defensive coordinator, really getting this thing going. And when you think about what you're trying to do, here's a guy you want to come and talk to. That's Jason White, the backup quarterback. He can now come and talk to Nate Hibble when he walks off the field and say, Nate, this is what they're doing. You know, I was out there last week. Remember me? I played when you got hurt.
Going back deep, Roger Ross. And as Mark Mangino said, their offensive coordinator, he says, I've been telling you guys a long time now, we've got 2 good quarterbacks. End over end. Ross on the run. Good field position out to the 30-yard line. he doesn't get to it, that had the kind of end-over-end action that could have gone way inside the 10.
Yeah, good job fielding that punt.
So Kansas better shape. Last time at the 13, now near their own 30, scoreless, almost 5 minutes gone by. Terry Allen to the Jayhawks, 2-2 after the first 4. Busy Saturday as we look at today in the Big 12 after this first snap. And the Jayhawks have it at their own 30-yard line, playing at home for the first time since way back on the 8th of September. Give it to the fullback, Wabuzzi, or give it to Mitchell Scott. He's been bothered by a knee injury. They told us Wabuzzi would see most of the time in the Big 12 today. Texas dominating Oklahoma State after a tight beginning where Oklahoma State actually had a 10-7 lead early. Nebraska pounding Baylor. Big day for Eric Crouch once again. The best matchup of the day, most even, it was Colorado, Texas A&M. And that was a tight affair. Only a 10-point ball game. Call it 2nd and 9 from the 31. Duncan, room to work. Going for the first time, he's got it. Took a couple of tacklers, and he's not big at 5'9", but boy, I'll tell you can slam dunk on the other running back, can he? Quentin Griffin.
Well, he's not tall. Yeah, he does have 3 inches on Clinton Griffin, but what he has is this guy has some weight behind him. Listed at 215 pounds, and he's running hard. North-south runner. He gets below the pad level of Brandon Everidge, number 7, so they're at 215 pounds, and they got a pipeline down to Killeen, Texas. About half a dozen players on this ball club.
Exactly 6. You're right. Can't get homesick, can they? Enough buddies. Kinsey looking to go deep on the post and overthrowing the entire stadium. Wanted to go downfield for his wide receiver, Tremaine Fulton.
That's the highest pass I've ever seen thrown. We are up 9 floors above the stadium, and I saw the ball pass right in front of my eyes.
Kinsey just wanted to let him know, I can't get it down there. But as the Oklahoma defensive coaches told us yesterday in our meeting last night with them, most of the time, even when he passes it, he pulls it down. He's always first thinking about running the football.
Well, he's good with his feet, and he's going to get better with his arm the more he gets to play. He's calling an audible here. You heard Roger. He's probably changing the play to run right.
You got it, partner. Duncan making him look like a prophet. First down. Coming off a 227-yard effort, the Texas Tech win. Getting up a little gimpy as he's brought down by Roy Williams. A first down for Kansas.
And if you're going to run right, Jason Hartwick, number 75, this is their best offensive lineman. A lot of power. He just takes his guy, and out of the picture, number 45, Jimmy Wilkerson. Wilkerson, more of a speed guy, so it's speed against power out there on the right side for, looks like the power one this time.
Kansas has scored first in all 4 of their games this year. All 4 have been touchdowns. Kinsey on the high snap. Little spread out action. He's got his wide receiver again, Byron Gassaway. He's got another first down. All the way to the 19-yard line, pulling it off on Derek Strait.
Now, Mario Kinsey played basketball in high school, and his high school team won a state championship behind him. Played a little basketball here at KU. Point guard. That time, he looked like he could have been on the mound throwing a fastball. That ball had some zip on it.
What an athlete. As you mentioned, 16 games off the Jayhawk basketball bench last year. First down. His drive started back at the 30 of Kansas. They've got it at the 19 now of Oklahoma. A little more than 6 minutes gone by. Duncan trying to see something, looking for a block. He was lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage.
When you're looking for the quarterback to spring you on a block, you're not going to get it.
3-year starter Hartwick doing a solid job on the line.
Yeah, he really is. And when you say solid, and we talked about power on that offensive side, he really is a run blocker first. But that punch, that's what you do on your quick pass, that you punch at the guy, and he is Mr. Reliable. 27 consecutive starts for Hartwick.
Out of backfield now.
How did he get away from Iowa State? Right in their backyard.
Giles in for the first time along with Wabuzzi. They flank Mario Kinsey. Kinsey on the quarterback draw. Can't get out of the backfield. Flag on the play. It's going to be a hold as well. Sensational play despite being held. Tommy Harris, who the offensive coordinator Rip Shears said to us is a great player, a true freshman for Texas from, you said it, Killeen, Texas, makes the play.
Yeah, he didn't make his recruiting trip up here, but A fantastic football player.
It looked like they were trying to hold Tommy Harris. Didn't make any difference, though.
Yeah, I think you declined this one. You had a loss of about 4 yards on the play.
Let Tommy
you
make
don't need
the call.
penalty.
Holding against the offense. Penalty is declined. Third down.
I don't know about that, though, because that would have knocked him out of field goal range. And Johnny Beck has been phenomenal, their place kicker. He's 9 of 10 on the year.
Well, you know what? You can move him back another 15 yards, and he's still in range. He has a 59-yarder. Now, that one was at altitude.
I was waiting for that.
Tommy Harris, you almost have to double team him in the middle.
Doubles up on the high side. 3 wide receivers set. Kinsey running the option. Trying to break a tackle is Marshall Childs, but only down to the 19. Teddy Lehman, the middle linebacker, who intercepted that pass last week with the decider against Oklahoma after the big hit by Roy Williams. Takes down the running back.
That's a great job by Mario Kinsey. They're getting the ball out of his hands quickly. Had a blitz coming off that weak side. If he's not aware and doesn't see that, they'll smack him right in the mouth, and you got fumble written all over that play.
True freshman. Has been incredible, James, out of Kansas City, Kansas. Piper High School, 9 of 10. You mentioned that 59-yarder at Colorado. Now tries to give Kansas the lead and does exactly that. So Kansas did all the little things on their way downfield, especially their right tackle, Justin Hartwig, on some of the running plays. 3-0 Jayhawks early over the Sooners. Retaping the ankle of very valuable Reggie Duncan of the Kansas Jayhawks, their leading tailback, or Honda scoring drive for the Kansas Jayhawks. 3:15 off the clock, a 37-yard field goal by Johnny Beck. Beck will get into it. Fagan and Savage wait for it. It's going to be Savage near the goal line, takes it from the 1, weaves his way very effectively across the 25 to the 26. College Football Saturday on Fox Sports Net, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper makes the world taste better. By Kia Zera, one company, countless solutions. By Holiday Inn Express, the smart choice for travelers who want to stay smart. By Subway, eat fresh. And by Terminator, buy today from MGM Home Entertainment. The Pond on the East Campus at the University of Kansas in Lawrence. Now, what a setting. It is a classic from the late 1800s. These two teams, Oklahoma and Kansas, they got together from 1901 for 95 consecutive years. First year they took off was Big 12 play in 97. Old rivals getting together. The dump off right down the middle. Playing it safe underneath its completion to the 31-yard line, near the 32.
Now that was Mr. Rogers, and we are in Kansas, so it was Auntie-M.
Josh Norman got the reception, his first. OU has struggled, though. The Sooners really struggled over the last couple of games. We'll talk with their opposition, but barely averaging a little over 200 yards in offense over the last 2. Their defense has really sparked them. Now they go with a power formation, and Quentin Griffin can't get out of the backfield. Might be through. You said it. The senior from Stillwater, Minnesota, second team all Big 12 last year.
You know, they gave him a different look. They went with 2 tight ends, which means that you're probably going to run out of this formation. And Nate Dwyer says, if you're going to run, somebody better block me. And it's the senior against the freshman. We got to remember that Vince Carter last year this time, he was trying to get a date to go to the prom. Now he has some big shoes to fill. Starting at center on the offensive line, you see Nate Dwyer there, 300 pounds. And when I was talking to the coaches, they said the one thing about Vince Carter, as good as he is now, he still needs to develop that upper body strength. And you see Dwyer just ripped him in that last play.
Carter goes at 6'3", 265. Hibble on the edge, looking for the first down, but good coverage downfield at the 35.
Coverage, good coverage on the outside, Andrew Davidson, but what a great closing cleanup hit by Marcus Rogers.
And Antoine Savage short of the first down, so another punting situation and the second consecutive 3-and-out for Oklahoma. What about a letdown after an emotional game like last Saturday?
Well, 2 emotional games. They beat Kansas State 2 weeks ago, Texas last week. It is human nature to look at this ball club, look at their record the last 5 years and say, yeah, we should just be able to toss our helmets out there. Not so fast, Mr. Sooners.
So that's 0 for their last 3 on third down tries after they picked up that initial first down to start the game of the run by Hibble. Roger Ross waiting for the punt from Jeff Ferguson. Ross weaving his way nicely across the 30 and barely tripped up. Lost his shoe. It was a shoe-saving tackle by Ben Painter.
I talked to Roger Ross on the field before the game. I said, are you the fastest guy on the field? That may not be the fastest, but I can shake a little bit when you look at our top 10. Florida this week versus Auburn, but that Miami ball club, I was impressed. You weren't as impressed.
I thought Florida State beat themselves early. That young quarterback put it in the hands, made so many turnovers early.
That's why Florida State is not in the top 10, Joel.
Joey Arrington looked great again for Oregon. UCLA clobbered Washington.
Fresno State is licking their chops. They're thinking we got this BCS thing.
Duncan, Wabuzzi comprise the eye for Kansas. And the ball on the ground. Never got it to Wabuzzi. Loose stop. Oklahoma's got it.
They were trying the triple option. He stuck it in the belly. When he tried to pull it out, Wabuzzi kind of grabbed onto the ball a little bit, and that ball was on the carpet.
Coming up with it for the Sooners, it is Barry Holloman, the senior from Oklahoma City.
Got a flag down.
Well, the play is stand. It came all the way from in front of the Oklahoma bench.
He sticks it in. That's what you're supposed to do on a triple option, but it just gets caught up as he's trying to pull it out.
Personal foul against both teams. The penalty's all set. First down.
This is something new, a wrinkle that they wanted to try this week. They watched Kansas State run it against them 2 weeks ago. They said, we need to put this in. But with only 3 days to practice it, and it is a high-risk offense. You get some benefits from it because you catch the defense off guard, but we saw one of the risks there. When you stick that ball in, the fullback doesn't know for sure if you're thinking, I'm going with it, or are you going to pull it out? When he tried to pull it out, went straight to the carpet.
So now 29 of the 31 games that Bob Stoops has been there, Oklahoma has forced a turnover. Griffin trying to bounce outside. He's wrestled down to the 32 by Andrew Davison, the senior from Detroit. Don't forget tomorrow, Fox NFL Sunday. Well, that all starts tomorrow. It's NFL this morning. The crew will work with the cyber strainer. Boomer Esiason will be on top of the situation, along with Jay Moore. That is tomorrow morning, 10:30 Eastern. NFL this morning, 7:30 Pacific on Fox Sports Net.
Deacon Jones is saying, let me just hit Boomer one time. Just one time.
Second and short. Hibble, misdirection, setting things up, wide open. Taking it in, Mark Clayton, who had 6 catches last week, and check it. Antoine Savage, was he in bounds? No.
He almost hopped over the line.
Unbelievable.
You extend your arms and you drag the feet. Great job by Hibble. You know, he gets a little pressure in his face, and he's patient enough to get the football down the field. Extend the arms and then drag the feet. He doesn't drag the feet. Watch, you only need 1 foot in bounds. No. He's not in bounds. Good call because he did not have possession until he had gone out of bounds.
Points off turnovers. Oklahoma has 65 this season, compared to only 21 for the opposition. This is what they do well. Now, how can they take advantage of it, though? 3rd and long. A long 6, almost 7. It'll need to timeout. So the junior from Hazelhurst, Georgia, Nate Hibble, using his first timeout of the contest. Not a bad idea if he wasn't ready. The opportunity to get points very early, 3:47 to play in the opening 15 minutes. He heads over to his offensive coordinator, Mark Mangino. Well, it has been a struggle, though, for this offensive unit.
And if you're talking points, they need to get 7 points because their kicking game has not been there.
Now, don't forget about the new show that everybody's been talking about, the best damn sports show period. Features a comedian who's a die-hard sports fan, a bunch of ex-jocks who really know the game, sports comedy, commentary, constantly updated scores and highlights. What more could you want from a show? It's introducing the best damn sports show period. Weeknight, 7:30, 11:30, only on Fox Sports Net. Check your local listings.
Are you asking me what more I wanted? I think that you and me on there, or even these guys as guests. But
I think they'd be better suited.
I think you and I would be on the A list. They'd be on the B list.
3-0 lead, Kansas on the 37-yard field goal by Johnny Beck. Now, these two teams haven't played every year over the last few seasons, but believe it or not, Kansas over the last 4 tries against Oklahoma is dead even at 2-2. Yep. They lost last year decisively in Norman, but Kansas turned the ball over 7 times last year. So talk about a team that really hurt themselves. 3rd and 6, almost 7. It's all off a turnover. Wabuzi didn't handle the Kinsey handoff. And now a free down for Hibble. The end jumped offside, wide of Smith, the tight end, but a free down at that.
And Dwyer all over top. It wasn't a free down because he got hit. He paid for that down.
Easy from up here to say a free down, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Algie on the outside. Atkinson, a little early movement by number 98, kind of spoiled a good pass rush.
Offsides on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
You know, they moved Howard Duncan, we talked about, from right tackle to left guard. Vince Carter going one-on-one against Nate Dwyer. Nate Dwyer is the co-captain of this defensive unit. He has his motor going. They moved Duncan there to kind of help him with the calls. He may need some help blocking Dwyer.
So now instead of 3rd and 6, 3rd and short.
I don't think he got that.
Did they get the first down?
If he got it, it was because they gave him a good spot.
He's right at the marker. Needed to put it on the 31 or checked at the 26.
See, that looks short to me.
Now it looks short when they put it down.
Short. That's exactly where it needed to be put down. You know, John Madden made famous the left foot, right foot mark. That's a backfield mark with the backfield foot.
They needed to go to Nanook of the North for Bigfoot for that one.
Yeah.
He should be about a foot shy if the chains.
And the thing about this offense, it is set up as a finesse offense. The quick rhythm passing, the shovel passes, the screens to the running back. It is not set up for power football.
Oklahoma doesn't have to go for 4th down very often. But their kicking game is another story. And Tim Duncan has had his problems recently. He missed a couple last week, their place kicker, in the Texas matchup. They escaped, though, because of their defense. As I said, a good foot shy, and that's exactly it.
Now, you can see that ball is an old ball. You don't have to use new balls in college football. It also had number 8 on it. So it's a ball that Nate Hibble actually likes. QB, and then the number 8 right up there for Nate Hibble.
Good call. His preference. And they will go for it. Quarterback keeper.
They're out of the huddle quickly. That's a good move.
Hibble at 6'3", 220. Will he keep it himself?
They're bunched up right there in the middle.
50% on their 4th downs. And he lost the football. Kansas will take over. Do you believe it?
He just pulled out a little too early. He got it there. He couldn't decide what he wanted. It looked like they had an option to the left with Quentin Griffin. And he just pulled out there trying to get away from the center. Boy, everything is spinning pretty well for the Jayhawks here early in the ballgame. See those hands split apart a little bit? When those hands split and he's leaning backwards, you have to ride with your center. Your center is moving to his left. You need to be riding to the left.
So an early break for the Jayhawks, getting it back near their own 28-yard line. Already their 4th possession of the game with 3:20 to play in the opening 15 minutes.
Watch that little quick screen out here, that bubble look.
Trips on the wide side of the field. Kinsey calls his own number. And he is level. Boy, did they pursue well. The free safety, the sophomore from Granger, Texas. Former high school quarterback, read a quarterback very well.
But you know what? A nice read offensively because he does have the numbers over here. There are only 3 guys, but this 4th guy comes up in a hurry. Right in the hole. I mean, he made a great read, but Brandon Everett, you mentioned former quarterback, he's looking in the quarterback's eyes going, you think you're coming my way? No, you're not.
Gain of about 3. Kinsey on the play fake. Looked forever there and then threw it into the ground. He looked over to his wide receiver, Roger Ross. His heart wasn't in it, was it?
You know what? He didn't anticipate that very well. And once he saw the guy out there, he thought, that's a long throw. If I throw it, it may get picked.
Short arm?
And you know, you start thinking too much about a throw that's really easy. And he's frustrated with himself right now.
Zach Dyer is their backup, the sophomore from Olathe, Kansas. 2:39 to play in the opening 15 minutes. And Dyer has seen plenty of snaps this year. Started the last one, but gave way to Kinsey. So now 3rd and 7. First the motion man, will they look for the tight end? No. Little sprint draw, lost football. Oklahoma gets it back.
Reggie Duncan was low to the ground. Brandon Everett came up, popped that ball out. Recovered by Oklahoma. This is how they create offense.
Roy Williams comes up with a loose football. What a shot that he'd come up with it. First team All Big 12 last year.
Yeah, but you're going to see Brandon Everett right there in the middle of your screen. Number 7, he's reading. He's unblocked. Here he comes. Boom. That ball comes out. It almost looked like Reggie Duncan was down.
Well,
and we had a replacement at quarterback. Here comes Jason White, number 18. Hibble, we saw him on the ground. Maybe that left shoulder, that left area is hurting him again.
Throwing on his first snap. The wide receiver is pounded. Curtis Fagan taking it in from Jason White. Marcus Rogers recovering very well. 1st and 10 is brought to you by the American Red Cross. Please help the American Red Cross assist the victims of the terrorist attack and their families. You can help by calling 1-800-HELP-NOW or by visiting redcross.org. Boy, Hibble doesn't look like he's hurting right now on the sideline. He just looks upset. So White with a gain of about 3, caught it 2nd and 7 at the 21. Blitz coming, scrambling his way like he did.
Yeah, he
picked up very quickly. Marcus Rogers around the ankles. He had 38 yards on 12 carries last week. Did he leave a little bit too soon?
The middle's open. These are quarterbacks who were drop back guys in high school, used to throwing the football. And when he makes this move, the middle's open. His blocker, Quentin Griffin, blocks his guy to the outside. Up the middle, he's got room to run.
Still 3rd and 7 for the 16. Kansas shutting them out so far. The fade, corner of the end zone. Off the fingertips, poked away from Trent Smith, the tight end.
Matt Jordan, number 23. The coaches talked about this is going to be our nickelback, and we like him against Tim Smith because what it does, Trent Smith rather, it gives us a more physical presence in the secondary. Somebody who could play strong safety and corner and line up against the tight end. He just gets that arm in there, just pokes it out just enough. He leaves the arm in there. This is great coverage. Nice passer. I mean, that pass was where it had to be. The receiver must come up with that play.
Now Tim Duncan to tie it up from 38 yards away. He's missed 6 of his last 8. This time, though, perfect form, and it's all even. So after a 37-yarder by Johnny Beck, Tim Duncan answers with a 38-yarder for Oklahoma. It is tied at 3 with 69 seconds to play in the opening 15 minutes. So a shock early, though. Jason White taking over for Nate Hibble. Joel Myers, James Lofton, Eric Clemens in Lawrence, Kansas, homecoming weekend. Now the Sooners struggling out of the blocks offensively.
And when I look at the crowd here, I mean, there are a lot of people with crimson on here. So they made the drive over from Oklahoma, from the Norman area. But Kansas, you know, they said, hey, we're 9 out of 10 our last homecomings. Let's go ahead. We got Oklahoma coming in. Let's go with the big dog for the homecoming weekend. And, you know, this mildly, I can say it would be the upset of the century. Because we're in a new century. We're only, this is the 2nd year of it. This would be the upset of the century against the ball club that has won 18 in a row coming in here.
Jermaine Fulton, Derek Mills going back deep, waiting for the kickoff.
You know, a big win for Oklahoma, for Kansas defensively. That sudden change going out there, keeping those guys out of the end zone.
They did not give up a first down, and that's the 4th consecutive possession Oklahoma's had it without picking up a first down. Will they bring it out? Yes, they will. It'll be Derek Mills. Maybe he should have stayed in the end zone. Just barely across the 10 to the 11-yard line, so a long field, to say the least, for the Jayhawks. 9 short of where he would have been had he stayed at home.
And it's going to get longer. You got a flag coming in here. Got holding.
It happens every time, doesn't it? Let's check in with Eric Clemens. Eric?
All right, Reggie Duncan, we saw him leave earlier after getting what looked like his lower left ankle stepped on. It was heavily taped on the sideline. He ran up and down the sideline, but he is still favoring his left side. That might have played the role in that last fumble we saw. He is not running with the authority that we saw him run with a little bit earlier. Team doctor told me that he was going to try to play. You saw him get hurt right there as that ankle gets kind of stepped on and rolled on. He had to come off the field. As he trots onto the field right now, guys, he is still favoring that heavily taped left ankle. Let's see how it'll affect him the rest of the way, especially on an important drive for Kansas, guys.
All right, Eric. Code Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week, sharing it with Eric Crouch of Nebraska. And Duncan now the single right at the goal line. Tough throw all the way out there. Coverage applied by Woelfel. They threw it
Wait a minute, his forward progress.
And now they're saying the ball was taken away.
Yeah, the
by
ball
Woolfolk.
came out, but that guy's forward progress was stopped. He wasn't moving forward. I mean, great job by Woolfolk getting there. And then you get the cleanup guy, Roy Williams, coming in. He knocks the ball out. But I still think that his forward progress is right there. He's not going forward. He's getting knocked backward, and then the ball comes out.
Yeah, they're giving it to Oklahoma.
And
right at the 10.
And the defensive player did not get possession of the ball until he had gone out of bounds. That's a bad call all around. Forward progress stopped, and then the possession did not occur until he was out of bounds.
So Woolfolk, the wide receiver defensive back, forced it. Williams covers it. And what a pounding by Rogers on Quentin Griffin. Bryant, the free safety, coming up to help out, but Marcus Rogers right now, a huge factor for the Jayhawks.
And Marcus Rogers did it. I mean, guys are late coming on to the field for Kansas. We talked about Kansas's no-huddle offense, but what Oklahoma does from the sideline, they go straight out and line up. They don't go huddle first on first down. They go straight to the field and line up. And that's catching Kansas off guard.
So 3 consecutive possessions, 3 straight fumbles for Kansas. Right on the play fake. The tight end's there, and Smith takes a shot.
Oh, nice job coming up.
Carl Ivey. The quarterback laid it on him right at the 5. And giving up some pounds there, about 75, James. That is the final snap of a very entertaining first 15 minutes of play. Kansas walking a tight wire right now. Escape artist after giving it away 3 consecutive times. They're still tied at 3, though, after the first quarter. Welcome back once again to Lawrence, Kansas. Joel Myers along with James Lofton. Tied at 3 at the end of the first quarter. Kansas living dangerously, though. 3 consecutive turnovers.
Yeah, they certainly are, and turnovers coming deep in their territory. At some time, you're going to give up points. No matter how tough your defense is trying to play, you just cannot put a defensive unit in this type of peril.
But now another huge third down for the Sooners. Third and about 4. They have missed their last 5 in a row on third down conversions. But that was with Himmel in there. At least the first 3. Now White in trouble. Throws it away.
And that's intentional grounding.
Will it get a flag? It will from the referee.
I mean, I would have thrown the flag if the referee had decided not to throw it. And launching it up here from 900 feet above the playing field, it might have hurt somebody.
That would have been an injury. Algie Atkinson all over the quarterback early. The senior from Skokie, Illinois.
Intentional grounding on the offense. We'll also down at the spot. 4th down.
Do you believe it? Kansas has given it away 3 consecutive times. Oklahoma has started now at the Kansas 32, the Kansas 19. This most recent at the Kansas just outside of the 10-yard line. And it is going to be a long field goal try. It'll be about 34 when they put it down for Tim Duncan, who just hit from 38.
This would help get this guy's confidence back the way he'd been kicking before he came in here.
8 of 14 after hitting the first one tonight. And it's blocked!
Great effort.
Super leap.
And we don't have to guess who it was.
What a vertical for Atkinson.
Man.
Did he ever get up there?
I think he better go to the Midnight Madness that they had last night with the KU basketball team with those type of ups.
This is what we're talking about when you see the man in the middle.
But a nice job getting the push up front, and a little hang time there because he had gotten to the apex of his leap. Joel, that's the top of his leap. And then he kind of hung there like Elgin Baylor for a second.
Glad you explained that. Thanks, James. The ball, unfortunately for the Jayhawks, though, because they need some Velcro. Stick of Lester Hayes. It's back at their 3.
I'm going play action here, going for a 98-yarder.
Like your style. Flag on the play. Can't move back much, can you? Reggie Duncan only back to the original line of scrimmage, if that. Tied at 3. It is hard to believe. 3 fumbles by Kansas. Man, they only cashed in opportunity with a 38-yard field goal. A punt, that field goal to the middle, and a blocked field goal attempt.
Holding on the offense. Penalty is declined. 2nd down.
So second are a little bit better than 10. Opening minute of the second quarter. And a shot early. The Kansas Jayhawks. This starts a huge stretch for them. Also coming up for the Jayhawks after the Sooners, Kansas State, Nebraska, and Texas. Teams with a combined 17-3 record going into the weekend. Kinsey. Hearing James Lofton, the receiver was grabbed by the jersey.
He really was. Roy Williams bumped him.
Byron Gassaway, you could see him trying to tear that jersey off him.
He did a nice stop-and-go move. He had Woolfolk beaten. Roy Williams came over to help, and Roy Williams, smart job. Got that elbow up, kind of elbowed him a couple of times as he went past, but no flag from the officiating crew. You're going to see it right there. You saw he was being grabbed by Woolfolk, and then he got bumped by Roy Williams.
Jet out third, a little bit better than 10.
You think the punter's a little nervous right now, standing on the sideline?
Give me some space, guys. Barely out of the end zone. Duncan almost got trapped for a safety. Rocky Calmas meeting him about 2 yards behind the line. But little Reggie Duncan got out of there. And the man, Chris Terrell, usually handling the kickoffs, backing up Curtis Ansell. Ansell with a strained hip.
And you're going to see it right here from the end zone. Reggie Duncan, Rocky Calmas. How you doing, buddy? Almost got the ball stripped away, too. Calmas was a running back in high school, so he's reading the hole just like the running back is, and he gets in the hole before the running back.
And Calmas wants to play offense now.
Yeah, he's saying, you know, when we're getting the right opportunity, we're ahead by a lot.
All right, how would you like this scene?
Just give him the 2 points.
Fagan waits for the punt. He barely got it away.
Good job getting it out of there.
From the 41. Fagan, good yardage. Dropped inside the 25, all the way inside the 24. Talk about another short field, 4th straight time in Jayhawk territory.
But still my thinking there, you've got to overprotect so you're not going to get coverage. Give them the 2 points. Go out to the 20-yard line, punt the ball away and say, okay, now make them do something offensively. What you've done now is giving them the ball on the 23-yard line. So they at least have 3 out of this drive.
FedEx Air and ground stats thus far, nothing doing offensively for the most part for either team in Oklahoma. Has had the opportunities to cash in, but only 46 so far. As we mentioned, over the last 2 games, and 2 good teams, Kansas State and Texas, they've only averaged a little over 200 yards a game. Up top, and what a hit put on the wide receiver. They tried to get it to Savage, and a pop from behind by Davison.
Yeah, you're working on a short field. So what Oklahoma doesn't do, they don't run beyond guys. Everything is kind of in front. This is that basketball on grass offense. And these guys, Kansas, who did they play last week? Texas Tech. So they've seen this offense for 2 weeks in a row.
2 to each side. Jason White stays in there at quarterback, calling his own number. Quarterback draws, got blocking. Makes him miss. Gets a first down. Any play. They say he's the best quarterback out of the state of Oklahoma from Tuttle, Oklahoma, since Troy Aikman was out of high school in Henrietta.
You know, nice job by his downfield blockers. And one of the guys who doesn't get a lot of credit is Quentin Griffin, but he gets in the mix. Quentin Griffin there trying to throw his little body around, and just enough to save his quarterback from getting mangled too much.
At 5'6", he can get lost in there, can't he?
Quite lost.
Outside of the 11. White feeling comfortable, isn't he? Changing the play at the line. Griffin trying to get lost on the weave. Does a good job to get 5. Atkinson had him around the shoulder pad. Eric Clemens, what is the latest?
Well, the latest, we have a player out there on the KU defense playing with a heavy heart. 95, Irvin Holloman has met with almost unspeakable personal tragedy this year. In January, he lost his daughter, Naya, due to complications from Down syndrome. A couple of weeks ago, his own mother, Bernice Bush, died of complications from a heart attack. There are brighter days ahead for Holloman, though. His wife expected to give birth, maybe have labor-induced this week, but of course, our prayers out to Irvin Holloman.
Tough young man back with his teammates. The shortstop down to the 1 where he needed to go for a 1st and goal. The completion to Savage once again.
Now, he had the first down. Did they move it back a little bit? Because he was inside the 1 yard line when he caught it.
Didn't get a great spot. He caught it right at the 1. They'll give it closer to the 2. Rogers, Davison converging. Man, it's going to be third, less than a yard.
Now, we're at the closed end of the stadium. You would expect a lot of crowd noise, but at this end of the stadium are all the Oklahoma Sooner fans. So they're going to be quiet for their Sooners to run this play.
Got to be tough. Nate Hibble, helmet up. White throwing. Back of the end zone. Touchdown, Oklahoma. Trent Smith, the tight end. Super play fake into the line.
Nice call from Mark Mangino. The sideline says, okay, Kansas is really coming at us, committing everything to the line of scrimmage. You see Mr. Rogers step up and nice little toss behind him. A nice catch by Trent Smith. You know what? That's actually easier than what it looks. Nobody's coming up to hit you. All you have to do is keep your feet in bounds.
Duncan to put the Sooners up by 7. Atkinson couldn't get to that one. So the Sooners finally take advantage of a short field. Marks 23 yards. Lead at 10-3. Oklahoma with their first lead of the contest. The return by Fagan set it up. 23-yard scoring drive with a touchdown toss, James.
Yeah, and it's almost like a little jump pass. Yeah, that's very apropos being in this state where basketball is so big. He goes up and just dumps it over the line of scrimmage.
Gasaway. Derek Mills waiting for the kickoff from Duncan.
He's getting some leg into these kicks.
Gasaway is going to stay in the end zone. Derek Mills made sure he did not come out of the end zone.
Derek Mills said, I'm not going to block those big guys.
We remind you, First and 10 is brought to you by the American Red Cross. Please help the American Red Cross assist the victims of the terrorist attack and their families. You can help by calling 1-800-HELP-NOW or by visiting redcross.org. But the Kansas defense has done everything they could so far in this game, despite the fact that the offense has given the ball to Oklahoma 4 consecutive times in Kansas territory. Now, can the offense get something done? Ground game last week at 288 yards rushing up the first 3. They only had 300 yards on the ground. They've got to be able to run the football with a redshirt freshman quarterback. Underneath, Kinsey, and breaking tackles is wide receiver Gasaway in his first grab. Junior from Grandview, Missouri, tripped up by Brandon Everidge.
You know, they gave him 6 in the box, which means you normally run. They said, we're gonna stick with the pass on this.
No huddle. They'll try to do it in a hurry. Make it difficult for Oklahoma to get set. Michelin trivia. Bob Stoops won a national title. His second year as head coach. The only coach to win a national championship in his first year. Have that answer in a little bit. Duncan. Chopped down from the side across the 25. He's got it out at the 26 for a gain of about 1.5 yards. 2. Average. Great closing speed for the sophomore safety.
So Stoops won it in his first year. Second year. He's telling me that somebody won it in their first year. Maybe the first year they ever played football.
First year coaching at a major university.
I'm saying, you know, back in 1868 when they invented all this stuff. You win.
Coaching his first year. Setting up the screen.
Not there.
And boy, what a fastball that was. Going to Roger Ross. A lot of touch.
Yeah, but Teddy Lehman coming up the middle, number 11, unblocked. You want to at least slow the rush men down when you have a screen so that your quarterback can set his feet and throw the ball accurately.
So Kansas for the second consecutive time. 3 and out with a punt. Curtis Fagan. Solid return of better than 20 yards his last time back there. Waits inside his own 40. Fagan, the junior from Houston. Jarrell with Fagan losing the handle, and will it find the sideline? Yes, what a break for Oklahoma. Almost gave it away.
That's a bullet there.
Boy, Banks Floodman, number 5, he was going after that ball. He tried to corral it in.
So Oklahoma almost coughed it up instead. With a 7-point lead, they'll have it at their own 40 when we come back.
Well, I hope you had a nice commercial break. Well, here's a guy who never takes a break. Banks Floodman, freshman out of Wichita, Kansas, and special teams is all hustle. Look at him. He sees the ball. This guy's going, and that's close. Put him on a Canadian field. That's a recovery.
He's well in bounds. You're right. From the 40-yard line, 1st and 10. Jason White, the sophomore from Tuttle, Oklahoma, stays in there at quarterback. Underneath he goes. Man, Mark Clayton has the catch. Spinning around like a pinball, hit the bumpers, gets a first down, close to the 48. NFL on Fox pregame show starting tomorrow, and don't forget, Giants and the Rams, the big matchup, because the Giants slow down. The Rams on the turf at the Dome, where Kurt Warner is 16-0. Other regional activity, check your listings on the pregame show. JB, Terry, Howie, Chris, the group.
Option.
Boy, that field position in the last graphic we had, and Jason White maneuvering his way down to the 35-yard line.
You haven't practiced against this. You saw it twice in the ball game last week. Said, okay, let's just cross our fingers and hope that they don't run it against us. I know somebody's supposed to take the pitch, man, but who has the quarterback? And nice job by Mark Mangino. And he talked about his script, that little play sheet he has in his hand. Well, a lot of situational plays, 1st and 10 things he wants to take a look at. And here's a guy who doesn't look very happy. And we haven't gotten a report whether he's been replaced because of injury or ineffectiveness.
I think the non-information tells you everything.
Okay.
The lack of information says that Hibble could be in there, but White is staying in there. And going for the bundle, Clayton over the shoulder. This young man was the best receiver on the field last week out of everybody, Texas and Oklahoma included. He had 6 catches coming off the bench, a redshirt freshman from Arlington. He's a standout in track in high school.
But one of the things he'll learn is that you also have to push off a little bit. He got a little push from Carl Ivy there, and it threw him off just a little bit. He wasn't able to track the ball into his hands. A nice throw by Jason White. I mean, that ball really should have been caught.
So now 2nd and 10. It's at the 34, just inside the 34. Great protection again, and what a drag. Nice play by the wide receiver, taking it in Josh Norman, the senior from Midland.
Yeah, Josh Norman is a mismatch waiting to happen. 6'2", 221 pounds. Nice physical presence to have in there. It's almost like having an additional tight end. You put Trent Smith on one side, and there's Norman at the bottom. You're going to see he's going to work his feet. You know why he works his feet? Because he watches a lot of NFL. He's going to watch the Rams and the Giants, and I like the Rams in that ballgame. I think Jason Sehorn is going to have to chase some guys who are just as fast, if not faster, than he is.
From the 17, White out of the gun, making a mess. A scramble right from the snap. He's got it inside the 12 for about 5. Dropped by Etienne, the weak side backer.
Now, if you're Kansas, what you have to determine with Jason White in the ball game, if he's going to run, we're going to make him pay. And not only when he's running the football, when he pitches that ball and when he turns to face the defender who he just pitched away from, don't turn and chase the ball carrier. You make Jason White pay. You make him hesitate when he's running the football. Right now, that's the difference in this ball game. Jason White, his feet.
7-point lead for the Sooners. 8.5 to play. White off the play fake and off the fingertips of Norman. Going for the same target. Well,
Jason White did not have a guy around him. And really, his running ability now has taken the defense that was hard charging at the beginning of the game and penetrating to making them look to say, okay, who has the ball? And I think that Tom Hayes here has to get his guys going, okay, if he's going to run, like I said, we're going to make him pay. And you can blitz to stop a quarterback from running also.
Yeah. His defensive squad, Tom Hayes, the defensive coordinator for the Jayhawks, they've been on the field, it seems like, most of the first half. White with the blitz coming. It's picked up on the fade. Touchdown, Oklahoma.
Big
jump ball situation, and
little
Smith,
guy.
the tight end, took it away. His second score of the night.
6'5" against 5'10". 6'5" wins that one. You know, he has him covered, but a nice throw to stop your receiver, bring it back, and he just goes vertical. Not much of a chance for Matt Jordan. He had the coverage, but he doesn't have the size.
Tim Duncan in Center for the San Antonio Spurs in for the extra point. Ball true to form. He's looked good kicking the ball, whether it's a field goal.
Got a flag down.
You're right. Right to the line of scrimmage.
Holding.
You know, we were talking to Bob Stoops about his place kicker. He said, you know, Tim Duncan went through this a little bit last year, mid-season, this kind of stretch. He goes, but you know what? In the Big 12 title game and the national championship game, he hit 4 of 5.
You know what I think it is?
Holding on the kicking team. 10-yard penalty. Retry.
I think Tim Duncan may be taking too heavy of a class load during the fall. And they start taking those midterms. He's up all night studying, goes into a little mid-season slump, gets the grades up, and then he goes, okay, I can start kicking again. Now, talk to the special teams coach, Jonathan Hayes, and Jonathan Hayes, the big former tight end with the Kansas City Chiefs. He said, you know, I didn't kick, but I can watch him kick, and he was doing a couple things technically wrong. He's ironing those out. He'll be okay.
This is going to be a 30-yard extra point try. And again, splits the uprights with a nice little draw for the lefty. So a 2-touchdown lead now. There's Jonathan Hayes. Looks like he could still play for the Kansas City Chiefs. Come back, Kevin Frazier, our College Football Saturday studio show. A preview of the Nissan halftime reports.
Coming up at the half, more in the day's biggest game. Second-ranked Miami blew into Tallahassee and beat up on the Florida State Seminoles in impressive fashion. We'll have that, plus the rest from an upsetting day in the college football world. It's all on the way when Kellen Winslow and Artie Gigantino join me for the Nissan halftime report. But right now, let's go back to Joel and Lawrence.
Thank you, Kevin. Jason White living large right now. He's been in the last 4 series after the first 4 belong to Nate Hibble. And Bills puts it to the ground. It's picked up by Gasser, but it doesn't make any difference. Roy Williams. And we've seen it by, well, we saw Gross, we saw Craver. We've seen all the starters, a lot of defensive backs starting on special teams as well. First teamers that aren't taking a down off.
Yeah, and why should they? Because offense, defense, special teams, each is 1/3 of the team. And here's a guy who feels like he's left out of that equation right now, Nate Hibble.
The forgotten man. The coach who said he was the starter, there was no doubt about that. Well, he started the first 4 series, and they didn't do anything, and then he put the ball to the ground with that snap. Don't forget, on 4th and a foot, he pulled away from the center, and that's the last we've seen of Nate Hibble.
He's getting signals from the sideline right now telling him which way to audibilize.
From the 5. Kinsey close to the vest. Takes it close to the 7.
There's Clint Bowen with the white sleeves. That's the formation right there. He's going to give you the play next. Now he's giving him the play. Boy, Bowen looks as sick as anybody else. He's going, I'm not sure if that's a good call they just told me to send in.
Indecision from the guy sending in the signals. Weaving his way out of the delay. The draw. Duncan brought down by Everidge.
And Bowen, you know, he has a little claim to fame. He and his brother Charlie started in the defensive secondary here at KU. 1992, his brother was a little older. He came in, got to start alongside his brother.
They haven't picked up a first down since yesterday. A little more than 7 minutes to play in the half. Yeah, they need one now, field position-wise. Trips on the near side. Kinsey in trouble. And what a job just to get out of there. And we'll get the first down. Incredible. How elusive. Mario Kinsey. Well, the coach has said he gives us the best chance, and you can understand why.
Wow, I mean, he is caught back here. Brandon Everidge comes up. He gets away from one of the better tacklers in the conference right there at the goal line. And you can see the speed that he has when he turns up the field in that gap.
A gain to the 21-yard line. Kinsey on his own again. Only a yard that time to the 22. And the scouting report on Mario Kinsey's Gary Klein made the hit.
Yeah, and you saw it. You saw the escapability. We've seen his arm strength. Now he needs a little bit of a tune-up because the coaches say that, well, his mechanics aren't there. And this is a guy who's been splitting his time since he was a little leaguer between football and basketball. And he's finally decided to go full-time football, so he's only going to get better.
He had a 24-yard touchdown run in the first overtime last Saturday against Texas Tech. He loves to pull it down and run it himself. As I say that, looking for another first down, he gets a block downfield. Nice block by the running back, Reggie Duncan, to enable him to pick up the first down.
If you're going to spread the field and they're going to leave 6 in the box and you have a running back there, you have 5 linemen to block for you. And if your running back does a good job in picking up his block, which we're going to see him do right there, he gets to the legs of Calmus. Great cut block. Most guys, when they cut block, they go too low. You aim at the thigh pass.
Duncan, you can see the smile on his face, like he's looking over to his teammates.
On the offense, 10-yard penalty, still second down.
That's a tough break.
And that's thrown down the field. I don't know if Duncan got an arm around the leg of Rocky Calmus, but that flag was thrown down the field, because you can see now it's just 2nd and 12.
Kinsey still pleading his case. Won't make any difference, though. The referee held out. 2nd and 12. Kansas put together a drive, chew up some clock before they go into the locker room. Protection holds up, but Kinsey didn't bounce outside. And taking care of at the end, Corey Heineke, the senior from Edmond, Oklahoma. He goes to the boundary, it looked pretty good.
Yeah, but Corey Heineke does a nice job in keeping that leverage on the outside. We talked to the coordinators last night, Mike Stoops and Brent Venables, said we don't have to spy this guy. So we feel like we have enough team speed to be able to close. If he decides to run, well, he's run well a couple of times. But that time they did close well, closed up that hole when he decided to pull it down and take off. And there's Venables right there.
With Mike Stoops, the co-defensive coordinators, only 1 of 6. 3rd about 15. Kinsey again won't get close. At least they got breathing room for the punter, though, on that scramble from the 6 out of the 21 by Kinsey. Wilkerson, the linebacker, the rush end as well, taking him down. There's the other co-defensive coordinator, Mike Stoops.
And you know, last night talking to these guys, and they're both intense, both former players and pretty good players. Stoops even got a look in the NFL. I said, could you guys play at your peak for this Oklahoma team? They said, you know, we wouldn't even been sniffing scholarships.
It was pretty funny. They looked and they go, are you kidding me? Curtis Fagan waits for the punt. The Sooners almost got to it.
Got to hit the ground and get a good roll.
Nice hop out of bounds inside the 35. Sooners will have it at their own 33, up by 14. College Football Saturday on Fox Sports Net. Brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper makes the world taste better. By Kia Sarah, one company, countless solutions. And by Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires. Legendary Allen Fieldhouse on Naismith Drive. Do they have a little history here at the University of Kansas? I guess so. We're at Memorial Stadium, the 8th oldest collegiate stadium in the nation. Capacity 50,000, and it is packed.
I went in that Fieldhouse. I didn't see a peach basket in sight.
I can't keep up with you. I got to do homework on the outside. For the 33, banging his way as Ronaldo works. A sophomore from Tulsa to Washington High School. And what about that name, Roy Williams?
Well, here's the guy who would get a free meal around this area. Roy Williams, the head basketball coach.
The other two Roy Williams got together last weekend, and boy, what a day for the Sooners. Roy Williams, co-defensive player of the week in the Big 12. White looking comfortable and looking for his tight end regularly, who's got 2 touchdown receptions. Brent Smith close to the first down, 2 yards shy.
Okay, now you need a playmaker. We've seen Jason White making plays on the offensive side. Who's going to step up and make a play defensively? We saw Nate Dwyer, number 92, earlier. Marcus Rogers has been all over the field. One of those two guys is going to have to blow through a gap, put pressure on Jason White, or shut down a run or a shovel pass or something. But you need a play.
And they come up big, get the ball back, 3.5 to play. 3rd and a couple. Timeout, Oklahoma. So Jason White in for the 5th consecutive series after Nate Hibble started the first 4 series. And we talked about Bob Stoops winning a national championship, our Michelin Trivia this evening, and only his 2nd year as the head coach.
I think I got it. I got it. That's what I was thinking.
I knew it. I knew you had the answer. You just didn't want to divulge it too early.
I can't even pronounce his name. Benny Oosterban.
Benny Oosterban.
Now
Michigan, 1948.
Oh, you remember that? I thought it was
I was there.
Autobahn.
That was a great season. Well, what about that quarterback controversy?
You know what?
I guess it's not a quarterback controversy if the coach says, you go in.
You know, I think Mike Stoops, he has a great poker face. Bob Stoops, rather, great poker face. And, you know, when he told us there's no quarterback controversy, there is no quarterback controversy. I'm the head coach, and I decide who's going to play.
Now, Jason White, as Mark Mangino told us last week, he went out there before 76,000 fans at the Cotton Bowl and really handled himself well under pressure.
But you know what? They had 50,000 fans at the spring game.
Arizona, Oregon State coming up next. College Football Saturday, presented by Kyocera. Good matchup in the Pac-10. A couple of clubs trying to get it back together. White calling his own number, and it didn't work. Made the decision too late.
Now, who did I say was going to come up with the big play?
Dwyer
and
Marcus Rogers.
All right.
And you are a clairvoyant, but you bring a Ouija board to every game, and I don't know why. Marcus Rogers, though, I don't know. Is he learned a few numbers out there because he has been everywhere?
He is a good ball player. Out of Dallas, Texas, Roosevelt High School. I think the same high school that John Jefferson, the great receiver, came out of.
Roger Ross waiting for the punt. Jeff Ferguson, first team All Big 12 last year, the senior from Tulsa. Sooners should take their time with the clock moving. They don't want to give Kansas too much time. It was a wise decision. Ross coming over. Fair catch.
Oh, he didn't give him enough room.
And he's got it at the 35. But he did put his arm up very late.
Yeah, but you're still within the halo, even if he had decided not to fair catch the ball. It's 2 yards, 6 feet.
You need a flag up here. I'm going to get you a flag.
Kick catch interference against the kicking team. 2-yard belt was violated. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Major development for Kansas in field position. That's a story in itself. Nissan halftime report coming up in a couple of minutes. Kevin, Kelly, and Artie. Those three amigos scores and highlights. The matchup, and it wasn't much of one. Miami, Florida State. Did the Redbirds about a 4-hour drive from here stay alive in the National League playoffs? We'll find out with those guys.
Hey, that's a little Jayhawk fan there.
Only about a 45-minute drive from downtown Kansas City. Now, one of the more classic settings for college football. Little sprint draw. Duncan can't get out of the backfield. Flag on the play. Teddy Lehman, a former sprinter in high school, where he finished second in the 2A state finals in the 100 meters. Chased down Richie Duncan. In his homecoming weekend in Lawrence. Joel Myers, James Lofton, and Eric Clemens. Good to have you with us on Fox Sports Net. And there's a flag coming up.
Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Kansas killing themselves. You just joined us. 3 fumbles on 3 consecutive possessions, putting Oklahoma in Kansas territory. They started with it 4 straight times. What did the Beach Boys say about those Midwest farmer daughters? Starting to get nippy here. Starting to get a little bit chilly here in the Midwest.
It's a perfect night for football. You just got that thin blood coming out of California.
From the 21. Kinsey on the run. That was a nice peg.
I like that.
On the move,
I like
he
that.
hit gas away with some serious gas.
Yeah, and when we talked to Rip Shear, the offensive coordinator, he said one of the things we want to do with this guy is move the pocket a little bit. So you change the launch point, where the ball is coming from. When you move that pocket, defensive backs have a tendency just to drift back a little bit. And like we said, you know, point guard, football player. Tell you what, he looks like he can throw a pretty good fastball too.
It's an important possession for Kansas. 2nd and 8. Can they chew up the clock? Make sure Oklahoma doesn't touch the ball over the next 2-11 and maybe even get some points out of it. The option, Kinsey with a beautiful fake. First down, Kansas. Boy, did he use that pitch as a fake nicely.
Yeah, he really did, and they knew this triple option was coming. They saw it earlier. They had the fumble on it early in the ball game, but on this play, just a little bit of a hand fake. You get 7 guys up in the middle of the box. Once he gets there, you get 3 guys closing out. 2 guys go to the pitch man. That's an error. That's an error. That's E7. Scoring for baseball.
I would do a shell game with that guy. Thrown way behind Roger Ross.
That
it looked
was
like Kinsey
a
rushed
backwards pass. They're going to mark that backwards.
That looked like a forward pass.
Yeah, but they marked it backwards.
That was a forward pass. Let's go to the officials booth with the replay official working upstairs.
Well, if they had it, then they'd call this a forward pass.
That's a bad break for the Jayhawks.
I don't know if the official was really in position to see that, but a very bad break for the Jayhawks.
He threw it forward, though, didn't he, James?
Yes, he did. He's here. That ball goes a yard forward. That's bad call. And you know what? It happens.
Cost him 7 yards.
You just go and you make the next play.
They haven't hurt it themselves. Been on a treadmill running uphill. Movement up front. Dead ball foul.
Kyle Grady moving.
This team needs to get to the locker room down by only 14.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Oklahoma still has 2 timeouts remaining. And make it 1 left for the Sooners.
Now, see, things are going well, and Mike Stoops is, he's fired up. He likes to get in his players' faces.
That's a vocal group. Venables and Stoops, the co-defensive coordinators on the sideline. We can hear him upstairs. Kinsey out of the gun. And his own men.
He's got the blocker.
He does. And loses the football. Loose one.
Somebody in the blue got on.
Yes, it looked like one of the linemen coming downfield didn't come up with it. The right tackle, Justin Hartwig, the senior from Des Moines.
And you know what? That's hustle. Because Justin Hartwig, a big, strong guy, he could have said, okay, Kinsey, you run the ball and I'll get ready for the next play. But you follow, you see, this is enthusiasm. This is homecoming weekend. Brandon Everett strips the ball out. And here's Hartwig, number 75, coming in. He said, we did this drill during the summer where I recovered fumbles.
Well, it's the 4th fumble of the game by Kansas, the first that they covered.
And that's a huge play for Kansas.
Otherwise, Oklahoma, with a timeout on the board, gets it back in a little more than a minute to play. Now, 3rd and 10. Kinsey calling a check at the line. Buying some time. And going for the bundle. And the receiver pulled down. What a break. Mills had Woolfolk coming up his back.
Well, Mills is the big speed guy there. Woolfolk is with him step for step. This ball is thrown off balance, about 50 yards in the air. There's not much effort behind it.
Just what the doctor ordered for the Jayhawks.
Yeah, we'll see the tail end of the play. You say Woolfolk stumbling, but he had already bumped into Mills at that point, and good call by the side judge.
Against the defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
You got 49 seconds if you're Kansas, 3 timeouts, so time really isn't a problem, but you need a big chunk of yardage here. You'd love to get in field goal range for Johnny Beck, but also I think on first down here, you take your shot at the end zone because the defense is thinking we want to keep them out of field goal range. A little pump and go on the outside. I like Mills' speed. I don't like him against Woolfolk. Woolfolk runs too well.
Woolfolk, the two-way player, the first since '79 at Oklahoma. 69, Steve Zabel, a two-way player. 79, Bud Hebert, he was the most recent. And now Woolfolk at wide receiver and cornerback. Kinsey out of the gun from the 38. What maneuverability. Flag on the play, though. Kinsey goes down with a first down inside the 22. And boy, that flag came late.
And it came from 30 yards away.
You got to be looking for it.
When your quarterback scrambles, your offensive linemen are locked out. They're pass blocking their guys. Their hands are inside the framework. And when that quarterback moves and runs, then they get extended, and the officials see the holding calls. How many penalties have they had? They've had a ton of penalties in this first half.
On the offense, 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
On Kansas, that is their 5th. We'll see if it's the 6th. They've got it right now 5 for 36. But that is a severe blow. Otherwise, it'd be just barely outside of the 20. With another first down, And another great job by Kinsey. This guy definitely needs a break.
You know what? Who also needs a break? The defensive linemen. They're getting tired of chasing this guy.
And it's not a deep group. It's a very good group for Oklahoma. They don't have a ton of depth. Kinsey again on his own. You can see he called his own number all the way as Kerry Klein, the sophomore from Tulsa, got him around the collar. It'll be a second down after the timeout, the first used by Kansas.
Kinsey's not getting up very well. This timeout give Dwyer a chance to warm up on the sideline. Zach Dwyer, who has been a starter in the past, but doesn't give them the mobility that Kinsey does.
Dyer has played. We might see him now. The sophomore from Olathe, Kansas, goes at 6'3", 205.
Better get those legs warmed up because they're going to come after him.
And it looks like he's on his way into the contest, yes.
And that's not indicative of what he's done on the ground at 2.6, because he really has changed the face of this game. And some of his yardage has been called back because of holding calls, but you can see that this guy is what they want for the future.
Next week, it is a doubleheader on College Football Saturday presented by Kyocera. First, a Big 12 matchup. That'll be followed by Cal taking on Heisman hopeful Deshaun Foster, 7th-ranked UCLA. They'll all start at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Net. Deshaun Foster had a career day, 4 touchdowns, a ton of yardage on the ground in UCLA's big win over Washington.
Yeah, but Eric Crouch had 3 touchdowns. Nebraska, big win over Baylor, so he's Heisman Trophy guy too.
Well, there are a couple of guys that vaulted back into the Heisman race, like Foster. Woodrow Dantzler.
He just pointed at his big toe. And if he sprained his big toe, I mean, that is a painful injury. See him looking at that big toe over there, right? That big toe joint, that is turf toe, right there. I've had that before. Not that and when I pull off my sock, everybody backs up though.
So now Zach Dyer on the year, 30 of 53, 2 touchdown tosses. He's been picked off 3 times. And a flag out of the secondary. Usually where it's thrown, it's delay of game. Out of a timeout, a delay of game?
Well, prior to the snap, delay of game on the offense, still second down.
I've seen teams run out there with 12 guys on the field after timeout.
That's more understandable, though, than taking too much time.
Everybody wants to go back out.
31 seconds to play. Dyer, a good size guy. He started against Texas Tech. Played a little bit last year, and now on the move. Throwing it away. So it's going to be 3rd and 26 coming up. With 24 seconds to play. Just want to make sure you don't give it back to Oklahoma with any time to do anything.
You know, Quint Bowen hadn't moved his hands yet, because he's thinking, I don't know if we have any plays for 3rd and 26.
The penalties have killed them. They thought they had a first down outside of the 20. On this drive alone, Kansas has had 4 penalties, 30 yards in mark-offs. What a difference that has made. Dyer on the quarterback draw. No speed like Kinsey, though. And Heineke getting to him. Check that. Making the play. We talked about him earlier. Barry Holloman, the senior from Oklahoma City. And it doesn't look good for Jayhawk fans, does it?
Well, they're just trying to get his shoe on so he can walk off, because what you can't do when you hurt that big toe is you just can't put any pressure on it.
Clock expires into the first half. We had all the momentum belonging to Oklahoma in the entire second quarter. Turnovers killed Kansas. Their defense was on the field most of the first half. And Kevin, and Artie coming up next with the Nissan halftime report. From Lawrence, Oklahoma, the number 3 team of the nation by 14. Halftime continues on College Football Saturday presented by Kyocera. Oklahoma with a couple of second quarter touchdowns, leading by 14. Joel Myers along with James Lofton and Eric Clemens, and welcome back to Lawrence once again. No offense whatsoever for the most part. First 4 series we saw Nate Hibble. Then the last 5 series, Jason White, the sophomore quarterback from Tuttle, Oklahoma, Ground game non-existent, 50 to 59, in fact, in the first half on the ground, coming from the quarterbacks for Oklahoma.
Yeah, but Joel, the interesting thing, when we started this ball game, we said Nate Hibble's the guy, but they have a competent backup quarterback in Jason White, and he really has come through for them. And if you want to win big games, you're going to win all season long, you need a guy who can come off the bench. He's done exactly that. When he first came into the ball game, it seemed like he had to warm up and get his feet going, and then he got his arm going. But the one thing they've been able to operate on a short field because they've taken advantage of 3 turnovers against Kansas and really turned those into their points.
And White was a catalyst, let's face it, only 134 yards of total offense for Oklahoma over the first 30 minutes of play, and 88 of the 134 produced by White. He scrambled well as Tim Duncan gets ready to kick it away. And we are just about set for the start of the second half. Mills back deep and right over the head of the Jayhawks' Byron Gassaway. So Duncan pumped up, kicked well in the first half after some struggles against Texas. You think we were playing in Colorado the way he hit that last one.
And Duncan, when you look at what he did directionally, going to the left side, well, he didn't go there, so he couldn't get any yards, but up the middle, 6 carries, 30 yards, and to the right side, well, they shut him down going in that direction. 2 carries, only 4 yards, and you're going to have to distribute yourself a little bit better so you can test both sides, but this is a tough Oklahoma unit. I mean, we saw it last week against against Texas, rather.
Our FedEx ground stats for Reggie Duncan. Got a pop again. Duncan right at the 20-yard line. Takes a hit. Everidge, Williams, the great run support as usual from the safeties. Roy Williams, the phenomenal junior. Union City, California, first team all Big 12 last year. Reggie Duncan has paid for everything, every touch he has had.
Be interesting to see what type of mobility that Mario Kinsey has in the second half here.
And that's tough. He lost his balance, tried to reverse his field, but Everidge has showed us that kind of speed all game long. First half numbers, and not much offensively from either side, James.
Yeah, but the thing that jumps out at you, this number here and also this number at the bottom. 3 turnovers, only 1 out of 8 on third downs, and Oklahoma not a lot better. 3 out of 10 converting on third down. So poor offense? No, I think it's been very good defense on both sides of the ball.
And Oklahoma in particular coming off a great defensive effort against Texas. Kinsey in trouble. Good night. Back at the 8-yard line. Heineke again.
Poor decision
rush
there.
in.
I mean, you're outside the tackle box here. Throw that ball out of bounds. Don't take the sack. There wasn't a lot good that was going to happen once he pulled that ball back down.
So now, with the wide receiver going back, Curtis Fagan.
Yeah, Kalmus doesn't look good coming off the field there.
No, he looked like he didn't want to put much pressure on that left foot, left ankle. To the punt. And again, a difficult position for the punter. Chris Terrell. He gets a pretty good one.
And
towards
no
the boundary.
No return.
That is the key. Let's check in once again with Eric Clemens. Eric.
Well, Terry Allen, guys, really tried to fire his team up as they came onto the field for the second half. He told me, Eric, we did absolutely everything we did not want to do in the first half. 7 costly penalties, 3 costly turnovers. Obviously, we have to eliminate those, and the offense has to create something in the second half to put some points on the board. They didn't do it with that first drive, guys.
No, not at all. And if they're playing with a quarterback that's limited in his mobility, they may want to think about putting Dyer in before too long.
And Oklahoma has had a lot of great starting points in all this ballgame. They need to convert this one so they can dominate the ballgame.
Wide out of the gun. Long side of the field, and almost intercepted. Carl Ivey had a great jump on it.
No need to point now. Just catch the football. You know, I jokingly say that's why they play defense.
Wide side of the field, long throw, James.
Yeah, a very long throw, and nice break on the ball by Carl Ivey. Boy, you know, you have to be sure you're going to get that, because if you don't get it, Mark Clayton's going the other direction with it.
Wyatt almost picked off after 2 touchdown tosses. And now in a double move. Almost picked off, and it is finally on the deflection. Davison's got it. Davison outside of his own 10 to the 13 after it was off the fingertips of the other defensive back. So back-to-back plays, and they finally get one.
Jamari Bryant, number 4, nice break on this football. Ball's just held and eyed a little too long. See Davison come up with it. The only thing I don't like a lot is it kind of easing out of bounds at the tail end of the play. With such a hard-fought defensive game, your offense is fighting for every yard that it can get field position-wise. Cut this ball back in. You're going up against offensive players that haven't tackled in a while. Get some extra yardage.
Good point. They've got it at the 13. It's been a struggle, field position, all game long, and that is the first turnover by Oklahoma. As it's a little too tall for Jermaine Fulton.
Just a bit high, but you did a nice job getting rid of it. Don't pull that ball back down, because once you've moved the pocket, what you normally do when you move the pocket, you let the guy who's furthest away from the pass rush go. And that's the guy who's going to chase you and catch you when you stop and change direction.
Oklahoma coming in with 18 straight victories. That is the 5th longest in school history. Paling in comparison, though, to the run by Bud Wilkinson in the 50s of 47 consecutive wins. Kinsey on the delay. Duncan can't get out of the backfield. Super penetration again.
Yeah, number 11.
Teddy Lehman did it.
Number 11 in the hole. And if a guy's unblocked, he's going to stay in there and tackle you. In that situation, what happens is you're trying to block Tommy Harris with 2 guys, and you don't get the second blocker off on Teddy Lehman, the middle linebacker.
You know, talking about the streak for Oklahoma to match 47 straight like the Bud Wilkinson group, they'd have to win all the way through 2004, into the 2004 season. To give you an idea of what a monstrous run that was. Kinsey looking back and is in trouble and just throws it away. That could have been grounding, and it is. And now is it going to be a safety?
Well, he's got number 87 over there in that area. Adrian Jones is big tight end. Now the officials should be able to see how big that guy is, and he's throwing in that direction.
The pressure came from Corey Heineke. And are they going to put it away now? Yes.
They waved it off. Good conference by the officials.
Disregard the flag. There was a receiver in the area.
But again, 3 and out with a punt. And this defense spent so much time on the field in the first half to begin with.
There's the receiver right there. And he got bumped once that ball was in the air.
Terrell to punt it away to Fagan. Try to keep it away from Fagan. Be a good idea for the Jayhawks.
They're coming after him.
Off the side of his foot. Kansas gets a break on the hop. Fagan will make sure that they don't get any more, though. Heads up play by Curtis Fagan. He got about 5 on it.
And he could have popped it for even more.
Weir knocked him out of bounds, but great field position again. That's been the story of the night for Oklahoma. Now can they take advantage of it? Up by 14. 14-point lead for the Sooners. Get it at their own 35 or make it KU's 35. And 1st and 10 is brought to you by the American Red Cross. Please help the American Red Cross assist the victims of the terrorist attack and their families. You can help by calling 1-800-HELP-NOW or by visiting redcross.org. Bob Stoops and his staff told us on their off week they had a car wash, raised $25,000 on their off week for the families of the victims of the terrorist attack on September 11th. Good group, great effort. In the backfield, battling his way, Ronaldo Works, the sophomore from Tulsa. Ground game non-existent for the Sooners, as I mentioned, only 9 yards from their running backs out of 59 of the first half. Atkinson made the stop. Can they finally get a ground game going after taking over at the 35?
Well, you know, they build themselves as a finesse offense, and the ground game works if you can open things up and throw the ball down the field.
Gain of 3 from the 32 on 2nd and 7. And not close to his target. It'll bring up third and long, looking for Savage. Let's head downstairs again. Eric Clemens.
Well, I'm over here on the Oklahoma sideline, and we talk about their ground game a little bit. And little Quentin Griffin, one of the smallest guys on the field in terms of stature, is one of the big stars. Even people around these parts mention a comparison in stature and style to Barry Sanders, but Quentin Griffin has been pretty much missing from the game plan in this one. Not been out on the field a whole lot later on in the game, so we know he is not injured. There's nobody working on him on the sideline. I wonder what the situation is with OU's ground attack.
Only 4 carries, 6 yards for Griffin, Eric. Only 1 catch for 2 yards. For a first down, they get it. Little cross underneath, taking it in. Antoine Savage, brought down by Davison.
If you're gonna blitz, you have to get to the quarterback. The quarterback does a nice job at absorbing the blow. He knows he's going to get hit, but he also knows he has to wait long enough, has that ball, molds it in his hands, gets it out before ATN gets him. And a nice job by ATN. Maybe get those hands up, because you're coming free, but you've also punished him. You've already put maybe one quarterback out the game, or apparently the guy just standing on the sideline.
That looked real similar to the hit that Hibble took in the late part of the first quarter against Texas. Struggling inside the 15. Ronaldo works. Atkinson again tripped him up.
LG Atkinson with the
Bell Television's most unique brand of football commentary returns tomorrow. NFL This Morning on Fox Sports Net. Boomer Esiason will take a look at the Giants-Rams matchup on the Cybers Trader. Plus, the gang debates which is worse, being a Redskins fan or being a Cowboys fan. Flip a coin on that one.
That's low.
NFL This Morning, pre-game show. That's not really a pre-game show. That's tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Eastern, 7:30 Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Net. Kansas is lucky to be only down by 14. Average field position to start a drive for Oklahoma tonight, the Kansas 46. White calling his own number, the quarterback draw. And he's stripped from behind. Kansas gets it. They've got it at their own 4. On the recovery, Charlie Dennis, the right end. But stripping it away was Dwyer from behind.
You know, they do a nice job in clogging up the middle and making Jason White change direction about 3 or 4 times. There's Nat Dwyer coming in, knocking that ball out. Everybody wants to be a running back, though. Charlie Dennis picks this up. They just fall on it. Just fall on it when you're that close to your goal line.
So back-to-back turnovers to start the second half. For Oklahoma, starting at their own 49, the interception. Then at the Kansas 35, the fumble by White. Zach Dyer in there. I mentioned Kinsey. If he was struggling, they may want to go the other way, and that's what they've done. We may see Kinsey before it's all over, though.
This 2-back look is their option look, their triple option.
Taking a pounding. Marshall Childs, a true freshman from El Reno, Oklahoma. A shot at the 5.
Yeah, Brandon Moore, number 46, just knifes down and gets him helmet to helmet. Nice job holding on to the football.
Fourth time that Kansas has started inside their own 10.
If I'm Oklahoma up front, I know I can tee off and get after this guy because he doesn't have the escapability.
Dyer out of his own end zone, in trouble, got rid of it. Nobody in the neighborhood, though, and no flag. That looked like more of an intentional one than the one that we saw the flag on from Kinsey.
Well, you're going to watch Dwyer and his wide receiver on the outside trying to get in sync, but they're out of sync. 2 wide receivers. Inside guy, he goes in, the outside guy, now he's going in, ball goes out. Smart thing to get rid of that ball when Tommy Harris is closing in on you.
And a break that there wasn't. A flag on the play on grounding. Now 3rd and 9.
Probably a draw right here.
4 wide receivers set. Dwyer in trouble. Good job to get rid of it. Knocked away by the linebacker.
Kalmus
almost got it.
If you get one linebacker, Teddy Lehman, number 11, flushing the quarterback. Get great coverage by Rocky Kalmus. We all know that Kalmus can attack. That time, good pass coverage on the running back, Marshall Childs.
All 3 possessions for Kansas in the second half. 3 and out with a punt. So Fagan should get good field position once again on the Terrell punt. Good protection, and maybe his best yet. Fagan for the 45. Good punt, great coverage. Super hang time. But again, starting in plus territory on the KU side of the 50. Sooners, can they do it finally? Leading by 14. 14-point lead for the Sooners, and for the 6th time in this contest, they are going to start with the football. In Kansas territory, Dyer's taken over for Kinsey, a quarterback from Kansas. Kinsey with the turf toe. We saw that late in the first half. Tried to start the second half. Wasn't very effective, though. Still in pain. And White in trouble from behind. And now, just wide of where he wanted to go because he had Fagan available. On the cover, Jamari Bryant.
You know, when you're getting pressured, you can't see the whole field. You don't have time to sit back there and relax, but Josh Norman runs an out and go. But he's out of the view of the quarterback and just waving that hand over there thinking, why don't they throw me the ball?
Jason White now at 9 of 18, 74 yards, couple of touchdowns to the tight end. He's been picked off in the second half. But again, 45 snaps for Oklahoma, 165 yards of total offense.
Not a thing of beauty.
They are really struggling on the offensive side of the ball. Available out of the backfield, wide open is Works. Inside the 20, he's got a first down, close to the 14, brought down by Carl Ivey.
You know, every quarterback who's going to line up in this ball game has a strong enough arm where you can almost throw it through a brick wall. But really the difference in quarterbacks is the ability to loft that ball up, put a little touch on it, take something off of it, and just drop it in the basket. And Ronaldo Works at the tail end of this play. I like the way he cut back, fought for that extra yardage. And the guy cut back in front of was Davison, who I said when he intercepted the ball, he should have fought for that extra yardage.
Sets it up. 1st and 10, right outside of the 14. Works, banging it down to the 10-yard line. A little more than 4. So now Works is the guy they're going to. The backup for Quentin Griffin. Works, the sophomore. Griffin, the junior from Aldine, Texas. Dropped by Hayes and ATN. Good size, 6'1", 210. But it is a surprise. Griffin doing so well last year, and he caught 45 out of the backfield last year. He is such a multi-purpose weapon. Right after our matchup tonight, Arizona, Oregon State, we head out to the Pac-10. That is up next on Fox Sports Net after we leave Lawrence. Tight end, short yardage. Going to bring up third about 3-4 yards.
Good hands by Trent Smith.
ATN, the linebacker, on his back. 7.5 left in the third quarter.
Remember last year in the Big 12 championship game, Trent Smith caught 8 passes. You talk about a tough physical ball game. And when your wide receivers can't get free down the field, one guy you can always look for is your tight end, because he's going to catch that tough little pass in traffic, help you move the chains.
Only 4 of 11 tonight. You see their number on the year.
Here's the matchup at the bottom, Trent Smith.
Looking that way on the crossing pattern, little turn in, touchdown Oklahoma. The tight end with his 3rd touchdown reception of the night, Trent Smith.
That's the hat trick, and that was the best catch of all, because we're all thinking the fade route. Big tall receiver makes that step outside, comes inside on the slant pattern. The ball's thrown behind him. He just puts those big mitts out. It's a nice job catching it.
Took some mustard to get it in there, didn't it?
Yeah.
So all the touchdowns tonight going to the tight end. Duncan for the point after. And Oklahoma has opened things up. Inside of 7 to play in the third quarter. Sooners by 21.
Sometimes it's a non-verbal communication that works best, and just a little hand signal. I thought the fade route was the route that was called, but you're looking out of the corner of your eye, getting that little hand signal right there. We're going slant instead of fade. Watch the tail end of this. We talked about those big mitts reaching backwards to get that ball. Nice non-verbal communication. I bet they exchanged some high fives on the sideline. Nice. Nice kick. Once you get the leg warmed up, you can boom him out of the end zone.
Duncan downwind taking advantage of the situation. The breeze has picked up, and Kansas will have it at their own 20. College Football Saturday on Fox Sports Net, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper makes the world taste better. By FedEx, shipping at FedEx.com. It's fast, it's easy, it just got cheaper. And for the best damn sports show, period. Weeknight, 7:30, 11:30, only on Fox Sports Net.
Kansas was one man short of the 11 required to run a good offensive play.
To the tune Climb Every Mountain playing in the background. Zach Dyer is in at quarterback for the Jayhawks. And it's batted down. Heineke's been everywhere tonight. Boy, did he read it. He was trying to dump it off to Childs, circling out of the backfield.
Yeah, I talked about a defense full of superstars, and you know, they said our defensive linemen do a nice job in feeling the pressure of a play. You can see Hartwig here pass blocking. He's waiting to punch, This guy never gets close enough. He's not going to get around Hartwig or through him, but he's looking at the quarterback. Let me get my hands up, knock this thing down.
2nd and 10 from the 20. Dyer in trouble. Good idea, throw it over the head of your wideout on that side, Gasaway. Kalmus all over the quarterback.
And another flag down. They tried a pump and go, and you know, when you're down by 21, the pump and go doesn't work real well. Illegal block, or either that or somebody's got a waist problem.
Let's see, they decline it. Going to bring up 3rd and 10.
They set him up and then they chopped him down.
The only thing this defense hasn't done tonight is score points. Sooners defensive unit has scored 7 of their last 8 regular season games.
But they have set their offense up
without
in position to score the points.
Chop block against the offense. Half the distance to the goal. Still 2nd down.
Well, 5 different defensive players have scored touchdowns this year, and that was the chief concern for the KU offense. Don't let Oklahoma score on defense. That was one of their keys, their objectives going in. Mike Stoops, Brent Venables, the co-defensive coordinators. And those guys, they must lose some weight during the course of a game, the way they work the sideline.
That was a nice catch.
Gasaway, good grab. Brought down by Roy Williams. Not much there.
I think Roy Williams missed a tackle once. Probably when he put on his first Pop Warner uniform. Dad took him out in the yard and probably ran past him, and that was probably the last time he missed a tackle.
Last week, knocked down 2 passes, recovered a blocked field goal, was in on 8 tackles. And when we asked Bob Stoops about Roy Williams, he goes, well, to give you an idea, he set up the biggest play of the game with a flying hit on Sims, turned into the interception for Lehman and the touchdown, and they'll let Gasaway get off the field. He said, don't forget Roy Williams after the kickoff then. Went downfield, and he made the stop on special teams. And then on the very next snap, he intercepted Chris Sims. So 3 straight snaps, Roy Williams was all by himself in another world with the way he plays. He could be the Big 12's Defensive Player of the Year before it's all over. Dyer buying some time.
No.
Flag down in the play as he tried to get it into Ross.
Got holding again. When your quarterback scrambles and you think he's going to be in the pocket, it's a pocket play call. So your guys lock up, and when they leave the pocket, the quarterback leaves the pocket, you're still holding on in the frame. Arms get extended.
Holding on the offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
So Oklahoma ready to get it back. This defensive unit continues to shine for the Sooners. It gives the offense time to work with a new quarterback. Let's face it, Jason White took over last week, the last 3 quarters. He took over the 2nd quarter tonight, working into the 3rd quarter. Fagan waits for the punt.
Got the return on.
Oh, wobbler. And Fagan, smart play. He thought about it.
And Jonathan Hayes, the special team coach, is going, get away from it. And he was close enough. Fagans was thinking, I want this. I want to go with this. But he saw big Jonathan Hayes there going, why muff this? This guy's a lot bigger than I am.
Next week, James, we are going to be back in Lincoln watching Eric Crouch with the rest of the country. College Football Saturday presented by Kia Sierra on Fox Sports Net. That'll start at 7 o'clock Eastern. Then right after our matchup, UCLA very impressive today. Deshaun Foster scoring 4 touchdowns. Bruins at 35 on the board, winning their game and holding tough Washington team to only 13. So a good Pac-10 matchup. Running the option. Works on the short side of the field. Takes a shot but gets about 7-8 yards.
Now, who do you think it was who popped him?
Bryant, along with Rogers.
Yeah, Marcus Rogers.
His motor's still running.
He's a striker. You know, when people watch film, you know that when you get around him, there's some guys who tackle. Some guys who tackle, they wrap up, they do a nice job, but he strikes guys. When he hits somebody, they get the whiplash of the head, and they just hope that they get up holding on to the football.
He was in on 22 stops last week and 10 solos against Texas Tech.
And he picked off a pass to seal the win.
Works. Dropped, no gain. In fact, maybe lost a half a yard. Nate Dwyer, the senior from Stillwater, Minnesota, second team all Big 12 performer last year.
Yeah, Ronaldo Works got bent back in a not a pretty position right there. You can see him limping around a little bit. He's looking to the sideline going, you know, there's somebody who needs to come in for me right now. Right now.
3rd and 3. This may set an Oklahoma record. Won't know until the end of the night for average starting position for a drive. Right now it's in Kansas territory, right around their 45-yard line. This one started at the 49. White. Where else? Trent Smith, tight end, and he gets a first down.
Though. I mean, they give you a little bootleg. Nobody really bites on that. You get a little pressure on the quarterback, good coverage down the field. That's a good football play on both sides.
You know what I like to see too? Trent Smith helping up Algie Atkinson, the man who laid the lumber on him. Love to see that. Too often they're showboating instead of the sportsmanship we just saw there. Atkinson, a senior. Smith, a junior. Good play all the way around. And let's face it, White knew where he had to go. He only needed 3-4 yards. First down inside the 38. Works to the 34. Charlie Dennis wrapping up the running back.
You know, we've kind of been moaning about the fact that Oklahoma's offense hasn't looked great tonight. I think what we have to do is take our hat off to Tom Hayes on his side. He's done a great job in preparing this unit. He said, you know, we can't worry about Oklahoma. All we can do is we can come in here, play hard, tackle well, hustle, get to the football. We can't worry about what they're going to do in the ballgame.
2nd and 7. Ball at the 34. Tom Hayes in his first year here after a number of years in the NFL with the Washington Redskins and UCLA, and an interception. Davison's got his second.
Now this should give the offense a chance to operate without worrying about getting tackled for a safety in the end zone. I mean, it's been a while since they've been out past the 30-yard line.
A while? That was hours ago. I'm serious.
Once again, it's the result of pressure, guys sticking to their coverages, because when the quarterback scrambles, sometimes you lose containment. You lose where the guys are in your zone. But that time, a nice job by Dennis getting up, Davison getting up and intercepting that pass. His offense has a chance now.
Best field position change over the last 9 for KU to start a drive. Their own 21.
And Super Mario back in.
Kinsey is in a quarterback. What a shot.
Yeah, but he's still running.
He was spinning off it. Spinning away for an extra 2-3 yards. Tough running. Almost 7 on the carry.
And Childs is down. Childs has a narrow cervical column. And he got 2 conflicting reports before he started school. One said don't play. The other one said go ahead and play. And that was a big hit there. Teddy Lehman came in. That's helmet to helmet. And he kept running, but he's in pain on the sideline.
It's 2nd. Make it 4. 3.5 to play in the 3rd. Dyer gets the wideout for the first time. Derek Mills, a sophomore from Carter High School in Dallas. He's right at the marker, and he may have it across the 41. Got a good spot. He should have it. And that'll be their first down of the 2nd half. McCoy applied the hit. So it is a first down, and they celebrate on homecoming weekend. Crowd of close to 50,000 at the start of the contest.
Boy, they played that really well.
They saw it all the way. Jimmy Wilkerson. And let's head downstairs. Eric Clemens.
Time now for the Subway game summary, guys. Trent Smith of Oklahoma, the big tight end, has been a big target all night. 7 receptions, 3 of them for touchdowns and a couple acrobatic catches. Jason White on in relief. Do we have a quarterback controversy here at Oklahoma? We'll find out, I guess, a little bit later. 3 turnovers on each side, but KU's much more costly, especially in the first half when they were moving the football. Guys?
Well, Eric, I don't think we have a quarterback controversy as there's Nate Hibble, because Bob Stoops so emphatic in the way he runs his program. His decision, there's no controversy. Giles is going to be heading back to the locker room, I believe. No, they're going to sit him on the bench first. Kinsey, wide, and Wabuzi.
Yeah, but Corey Heineke right in his face. They're checking his neck back there. During the summer, he went out and finally went out to Los Angeles on August 21st, and he has cervical stenosis. They looked at him and they said, you know, you have a mildly increased risk of paralysis. His mom was worried about him. They kind of assured him that, you know, it would take a traumatic blow, you know, that if he got it, you know, it would happen anyways. But he feels okay about it.
2nd and 10 for Kinsey. And slowed down initially by Hollyman. Barry Hollyman got him first, slowed him down. Lehman cleaned up, and they continue to look at Giles. You know, we talk about the Kansas defense, and it's been tough for them because of the field position situation. Let's not forget about Oklahoma. 53 snaps for Kansas tonight. Only 117 yards of offense, so barely over 2 per snap.
You take your hat off to these guys. They hustle, and there have been some openings, and they just close up so quickly against Oklahoma's defense.
Fagan waits for the punt. And good
got
coverage.
around the head.
Good coverage right at the 20. Santana Lane, the defensive back.
You hear the boom?
Yes, the Oklahoma
they're
fans.
down in the Oklahoma end of the field.
And there are a lot of Oklahoma fans here, James.
Oh, wow.
So Oklahoma finally deep in their own territory, and that is a shocking development in this matchup. College football Saturday on Fox Sports Net. Brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper makes the world taste better. By FedEx. Shipping at FedEx.com. It's fast, it's easy, it just got cheaper. And by the best damn sports show period. Weeknight 7:30, 11:30 only on Fox Sports Net. Campanile Tower, the heart of the University of Kansas campus. Jason White is in there with Ronaldo works in the backfield as a single. Still no Quentin Griffin. And they give it to the end around. Wide receivers spun around and put down. Nice play on Josh Norman. Algie Atkinson has been there all night long, though.
He really has. And, you know, you say, how does this guy sniff a play out like that? Because the lineman who's over him is trying to reach to his outside. When he does that, it signals screen regardless of what, the signal sweep regardless of what formation they had lined up in.
You can see the huffing and puffing even though he's just back out there on this first snap because they have been out there so frequently. In 5 possessions by the offense in the second half. Only 1 first down.
Well, Algie Atkinson kind of has that Charles Haley body. Tall and long.
Which works well on Sundays, too. Loss of about 3. And another loss. Back inside the 10. Works. Drop by. He's in his neighborhood, I guess,
well,
anytime.
He is having a fantastic game. You know, the scoreboard may show 24-3, and a lot of guys will take plays off and not play as hard. Here's a guy who doesn't look at the scoreboard, just looks at what's in front of him, and he says, hey, you're going to come around trying to trick me. It's not going to work. I've been watching these plays for the last 3 weeks. We got ready for Texas Tech, and we're ready for you guys.
The senior from Roosevelt High School in Dallas. And now 3rd and almost 20.
Big chance to get some field position.
They're after White.
Whoa.
And he took a shot from the side. So he got about 9, almost 10. Few pops along the way. Matt Jordan clipped him on the hip. And he gets up very slowly. So a stop, 3 and out. They appreciate it here in Lawrence. Plenty of time left.
Got to hold up the gunners on the outside to get a good return.
It's been a long time since we see Jeff Ferguson in there, the punter for the Sooners.
You normally peel out and double the side of the return that you want to go to.
Roger Ross waiting back at the Kansas 40. And they almost get to it. Run into the kicker, but inadvertent contact. And Ross falls down.
Kind of blocked into him.
Tough break for the Jayhawks. Looked like they were finally going to get field position and maybe a return, but a good punt. Ross off balance, and he's down at the 32. Can't stand prosperity, can they?
Yeah, that was a big kick by Ferguson.
We'll come right back to Lawrence. That is the final snap of the third quarter. Brent Smith, favorite target all night of Jason White. Only score of the third quarter, his third touchdown of the evening.
All right, welcome back here at Memorial Stadium in Lawrence, Kansas. He needs no introduction. Legendary former Oklahoma coach Barry Switzer. Barry, you've been watching this team for a while, up close and personal. His defense hasn't allowed a touchdown in a long time. You've had some defenses in your day. How do you compare them to some of the defenses that you coach?
Well, our defenses didn't have to play the spread formation, and they haven't had to play the option either, but it's a different game today. We had great athletes. We would adjust it just like this bunch here adjusted.
What do you think? They won the national title. I know you probably never thought you'd see the day where a passing-oriented team would win it all here at Oklahoma.
Not at Oklahoma with our heritage, but they do a great job both ways. Great coaching job.
What's been the key tonight? Kansas has not been able to sustain anything offensively, or they might be in this.
Well, you knew that was going to happen. You're not going to move the ball in this defense. No, they shut everyone down, and they've done it for 19 straight games, and they proved themselves every week after week after week. They don't put enough points up, and they don't put enough yardage up right now, and I think that hopefully the new quarterback maybe will do it.
Final question for you. Do the computer game thing that everybody does. You know, you can take teams from different eras and play them against each other. Your best team against this team right now, which team comes out on top?
We'll shut them out.
Barry Switzer, thank you very much. Barry Switzer with me down here on the sidelines. Guys, back up to you.
All right, Eric, but he didn't say what year, what edition that team is that would have shut him out.
Barry gets a lot of teams to choose from. I think that this team would have a tough time containing Billy Sims. I mean, I know I may be dating myself there, but that was a runner. And if he hadn't gotten injured with the Detroit Lions, you know, we're talking about Walter Payton's record and Emmitt Smith approaching it, I think that Billy Sims would have put that record out of reach.
22 touchdowns in 1979 for Billy Sims. Kinsey on third down. Man long with the flag on the play. Dumped at the 34, so 3 snaps and only 2 yards. Well, that's the story. It'll be declined. Oklahoma will get the ball back. Well, as we talk about the national champions, we go back to last season. Josh Heupel and the Sooners. Bob Stoops leading Oklahoma to the Big 12 championship. The Orange Bowl. It was MVP and Heupel had a great time going to the Orange Bowl, but MVP Torrance Marshall set the defensive tone. Quentin Griffin added a fourth quarter TD, sealing the national title. Sooners finished 2000 as the nation's only unbeaten team, and the hits just keep on coming. Tonight, if they hang on, they're up 24-3. It'll be 19 consecutive victories. Fagan waits for the punt. And a good one backpedaling. Fagan will take it at the 18. Down. He was definitely down. Right at the 16-yard line. Well, while we talk about this defense and the offense is going to take over, we'll come back. This defense has scored almost 30% of the points for the Sooners this season. Offense got 3 to the tight end tonight. Will we see any more? The defense put the offense in great position all night long. And welcome back to Lawrence, Kansas.
Those kids are early enrollment with that KU on their chest.
Well, no one is going to subdue those youngsters. They're not scoreboard watching at all. And I don't think the band's involved with the score either. 16-yard line. The starting point for this Sooner drive. White on the quick one. It went out.
You got all 11 guys within 10 yards of the ball. That's great hustle from Kansas.
Well, the Oklahoma offense, 25 scores this year. 19, though, have come from the offensive unit. 5 defensively. Special teams. And that was the throwback on the trick play against Kansas State on the fake punt.
I think people are slowly catching up with this offense. 3 years ago, Josh Heupel just burned up the league. I mean, set all types of passing records. And now they see it twice a year. They see it out of Oklahoma and Texas Tech.
Just about 4 on the first down game. Works, pounding for the 24, short of the first down by about 2. Holloman in on the hit. Well, as you talk about that offense slowing down, and their wins over Kansas State and Texas, only 265 yards on average in those 2, and the offense only scored 31 points in the 2 games.
Now, see, they're looking at pictures of the offense from a couple years ago, and they're all smiles about it.
Those are from the press box. They're breaking down the footage as we speak. And Oklahoma calls timeout. 2.5 minutes into the 4th quarter. We needed it as well, didn't we? 21-point lead for the Sooners as we continue from Lawrence. College Football Saturday presented by Kyocera continues on Fox Sports Net. Joel Myers, James Lofton, Eric Clemens in Lawrence, Kansas. Homecoming spoiled by the Sooners so far. Terry Allen's never lost on homecoming, but as he said, I've got to be the only coach in the nation to schedule the defending national champions on homecoming weekend. That's the case for the Jayhawks going up against the Sooners. 3rd and 2 out of the timeout. Tight end Trent Smith has it for the first down. He's had some big catches besides the 3 touchdowns brought down by Charlie Dennis.
Well, 2 guys lined up over him. Algie Edwards was going to bump him, and then you had Andrew Davison behind him, and they both went left. I mean, here he has the guy backing him up. There's his backup. They're both pointing. You take him. No, you take him. He's got 3 touchdowns. I don't want to try and cover him.
After the game last week, they asked Trent Smith about the offense. He said, you know, last year our identity was Josh Heupel. Well, this season our identity is yet to be determined. Going through some growing pains, and especially on the offensive line. We'll get to that in just a moment. Wyatt on this low snap, made the most of it. Up to the 40-yard line, and it was a low snap, brought down by Algie Atkinson. But we talked about it, a true freshman starting at center. They shifted Wes Sims over to right tackle, bring Duncan over to left guard. That's Arizona, Oregon State coming up next on College Football Saturday on Fox Sports Net. So they're kind of regrouping right now mid-season in their offensive line. Skinner has been the constant. Over to right guard. And Romero, the left tackle, second team all Big 12. Second and about 4, wide again. And he'll get the first down. And very alertly goes down. Got what he needed. Atkinson again sliding close to him.
And you know, the funny difference between the 2 ball clubs. The quarterback for Kansas scrambles, runs for a few yards, you get offensive holding. And this team, when you're a finesse team, you know at some point you're going to have to release that defensive lineman once you lock up on him. Your quarterback is moving, you know it's a design run to the quarterback. You actually let go once that quarterback gets past. You don't continue to hold people.
Nate Hibble could not produce points the first 4 possessions. In fact, fumbled away a snap on 4th and about a foot, and that was the last snap he would take of the night. Nice play fake by White, and gets a little pick from Trent Smith. There he goes. Brought down from behind, close to the 20-yard line. Smith took 2 out, didn't he?
Yeah. Trent Smith is blocking Algie Edwards. The middle linebacker comes over. He's scraping, trying to get to the play. But when you run that quarterback draw, you fake to the back going in one way, and that back then blocks the linebacker on the opposite side. You just don't have enough people up here to account for it. And there's the running lane, and there's the pickoff right there. Got some pretty good wheels for a quarterback.
He is now accounted for 226 yards. Jason White, 10 carries, 94 yards. 16 of 26, 132 yards. He's thrown for 3 scores, but picked off twice. Oklahoma right at their average over the last couple of weeks, a little bit more. And there's a reverse for Curtis Fagan. White trying to block for him. Not much blocking, though. He's out of bounds inside the 10. Little Matador, Etienne, in on the hit. Romero on that side as well, the left tackle.
I mean, check this out. Get the quarterback out in front. He's thinking, you know, I'm a pretty good athlete. I'm going to get somebody. How many people does he run through here? Whoop.
First and goal, Oklahoma. Sooners led it 17-3 at the half. Trying to close the door on the Jayhawks. Works. Shifting on the carry. Brought down by Nate Dwyer. It's been all Oklahoma since the end of the first quarter when it was tied at 3. Kansas has not been a factor. They have generated no offense whatsoever. Credit to this Kansas defensive unit that Oklahoma only has 24 on the board.
Well, look at what Oklahoma's done the last 2 weeks. Texas, Chris Sims, the golden receivers, the trio of sophomores they have there, shut down their running game and their passing game. And then bring it on the road up here on a week where everybody thought they may be a little down. Well, they weren't down defensively.
On second and goal. Smith again. Touchdown, Oklahoma. His 4th touchdown reception of the night.
Trent Smith came into this ball game with 12 catches, averaging under 8 yards a catch, 1 touchdown. Not real pretty numbers, but boy, has he been a work of art today.
Junior from Clinton, Oklahoma. He had a great one a couple of years ago in the Big 12 title game. Tim Duncan in for the point after. And I think the kickers gained some confidence too tonight. He's looked strong. Hit the field goal early. A 38-yarder. All Oklahoma by 28. Oklahoma held Texas, who averaged better than 40 a game coming in last week to only 3. Done the same to Kansas. An amazing defensive effort. Offense has come on over the last 2.5 quarters on the scoring drive for the Sooners. That's their longest scoring drive of the night, 84 yards. Took 4.5 off the clock. That's an eternity tonight. With these possessions, so many in the contest. A short field for Oklahoma most of the night. Gassaway and Mills go back. And Duncan into the win this time. It'll be Mills from the 2. Takes a shot crossing the 15 and is spun down around the 18-yard line. FedEx passing stats for Mario Kinsey, and it's been a tough night for the redshirt freshman from Waco. Suffered the toe injury in the first half. What direction he's gone in, James?
And this group of guys are not taking him out for milkshakes after the ball game. I'm just being honest with you.
Well, there's obviously very special communication between Jason White and Trent Smith. The other guys are going to, all of a sudden, this is political. You got to look for me in the end zone occasionally. They've had some good tight ends at Oklahoma. Keith Jackson, a couple of others in recent years. High formation, Childs and Wabuzi. Wabuzi torpedoed out of the play with a flag down on the play. Getting in there for Oklahoma. Klein.
Disregard the flag.
Good
no
idea.
flag.
Outstanding effort on that, disregarding that flag. Well, it's the new show everybody's been talking about, the best damn sports show, period. It features a comedian who's a diehard sports fan, a bunch of ex-jocks who really know the game, with sports comedy commentary, constantly updated scores and highlights. What more could you want from the show? Introducing the best damn sports show, period, weeknight, 7:30, 11:30, only on Fox Sports Net. Check your local listings. So they torpedo the play. No penalty. Gassaway gets it to the 22. Tough night for the offensive unit.
Yeah, a long night for Rip Shear up top. He's the offensive coordinator. He talks the play in, goes down to the sideline. Clint Bowen right there with the white sleeves. He then signals the play in to the quarterback, who then transfers it to the rest of the offensive unit. You got to be speedy when you do this, but remember, they don't huddle. They're at the line of scrimmage, and it's not a fast pace. Rip Shear brought this offense down. It's kind of Clemson's no-huddle offense, and Rip Shear had been the head coach at Memphis State for the last 5 years.
That's a lateral and a double pass. Gassaway hit as he released it. I like the idea. The execution failed.
Yeah, but you know, when they ran that in practice, the defenders that they ran it against aren't nearly as fast as Oklahoma's unit. And they got this off. They threw touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. These guys pursue, they fly to the ball, and Rip Shear, the offensive coordinator, said not only are they fast, but they play fast. And by that, they read and they diagnose where the ball is going. And when that ball moves, it attracts the crowd against Oklahoma.
Busiest man on the field tonight, Chris Terrell. He's punted it just a few times. He's gonna have to ice his leg. Fagan waiting for it. He'll stay away like everything else, and Oklahoma bounce close to the midfield stripe. We're looking down the road for Oklahoma as they'll now win their 19th consecutive for Bob Stoops, who will now also be 26-5 as the head coach of the Sooners. Baylor's up next at home, and the game everybody's been talking about and waiting for, October 27th at Nebraska, the traditional rivalry. They get past Nebraska, like their chances to run it out, don't you?
Don't tell Texas A&M that.
Well, it's at Oklahoma.
I know.
A&M lost a tough one at Colorado today. Colorado, Texas, a great one next week in Austin. Works, doing a great job, maintaining his balance. Boy, coaches love that at late stages of the game. ATN knocked him out. Now, the two that are ahead of the Sooners in the polls, Florida and Miami, their schedule's fairly favorable as well, James.
Yeah, but this ball game for Florida at South Carolina, that is a big ball game. Miami, really, when you look at their schedule, it really revolves around December 1st and how well they play against Virginia Tech.
Well, Oklahoma, if they can get past Nebraska, it'll be interesting.
Well, the strength of schedule will help out Oklahoma, playing Nebraska at number 4.
Works again. Nice footwork out of the backfield, inside the 30, down to the 27. The sophomore from Tulsa has taken over.
But for all this talk about scheduling, I mean, those guys at Lincoln, they're thinking national championship also.
And we just saw them last week. We'll see them next week, 7 o'clock Eastern on Fox Sports Net in a matchup with Texas Tech. I was really impressed with the speed of their defensive unit.
They get to the football. And I really believe offensively, they've been able to do some things with Eric Crouch this year, and they also have a big receiver in Wilson Thomas.
Second and short, ball at the 27. Oklahoma piling it on now just by simply running it up the gut for the most part. Works close to the first down. Won't need a measurement to move the chains for the Sooners. We're led by 14. At the break, 17-3. They have dominated Kansas in the second half. Their defensive unit has been spectacular. Jason White running efficiently. He picked off twice. All 4 touchdown tosses have gone to Trent Smith, his tight end. But on the ground is where he's made the difference. 10 carries, 94 yards. Only 1 first down in the second half for Kansas. Works, too much speed for the big guys out of the backfield. They thought they could get a shot at him. Letourneau, the strong safety, knocked him out.
And here's a defensive unit that has just been laying it on the line every play, and they're just starting to get a little fatigued, a little worn down. Their offense, a lot of 3 and outs, and they're trotting back out onto the football field, trying to play defense on the short side of the field. And what they didn't think they'd have to contend with was going to be a quarterback who's going to run as well as they have against them.
First and goal inside the 10. Oklahoma's at 221 yards of offense in the second half. Only 6 for Kansas. You talk about that defense being out there for the entire second half, but only 1 first down. Up the middle, Ronaldo Works. Touchdown, Oklahoma. So Works is rewarded 13 carries, 72 yards. Boy, he was untouched almost.
Yeah, you move Howard Duncan over there, you get Vince Carter moving. This guy's getting in position and works with the fresh legs going up against a defense that has just gotten a little weary as the evening has worn on.
With his offensive coordinator, Mark Mangino. Remember, this is a young squad for Oklahoma. 23 of their 44 of the two deep, freshmen or sophomores. They look strong for a long time. Finally, someone other than Trent Smith with a touchdown for the Oklahoma Sooners tonight. Ronaldo works. Road to the Rose Bowl. I see a Jayhawk on there. Honda scoring drive for the Sooners, 51 yards, almost 2 minutes off the clock in the final 9. Works. White took over after the first 4 series of the night. Nate Hibble. Looks like the sophomores wrestled away. The starting job, Gasaway, Mills, deep again. Mills will stay there. So Kansas back to their own 20, down 38-3. First and 10 is brought to you by the American Red Cross. Please help the American Red Cross assist the victims of the terrorist attack and their families. You can help by calling 1-800-HELP-NOW or by visiting redcross.org. So the Jayhawk offense non-existent in the second half. They're only averaging 2.1 per snap. Oklahoma's had it twice as much time of possession wise in the second half as well. Can't get out of the backfield. Childs, the running back, they lost their speed back, Reggie Duncan. He left early in the game with an ankle injury. Calmus dropped him. And, you know, before we broke away, I was talking about the youth of this team in the two deep, 44 of the two deep and 23 of the 44, either freshmen or sophomores. Good situation for
I don't
Stoops.
think the rest of the people around the Big 12 want to hear that.
Good situation for Stoops and the Sooners, and the recruiting. A lot easier after you win a national title.
I mean, people talked about the fact that they had good players in here under John Blake, and they've just gotten better players now that they played better.
Loss of a couple. Get the 2 back and 2 more for Childs. Takes it about 4 to the 22. Inside of 6 to play in the ball game. We remind you the executive producer of Fox Sports Net is Bill Borson. Coordinating producers, College Football Saturday, are Roy Hamilton and Gary Garcia. Tonight's game produced by Mike Elling, directed by Ken Fouts. College Football Saturday studio show produced by Loy Maxson, directed by Chip Terrell. And the head of field operations, Andrea Berry. Been a tough night for that young man, Mario Kinsey. Turf toe injury early, but he came back. Dyer had a couple of series in there. Kinsey, wide receiver Ross, wide open. Will he go the distance? Did he get in? Yes. First touchdown of the night for Kansas.
77 yards. They've been waiting on that one a long time. Go for 2?
Not enough Jayhawks around here to see it, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, let's see that one on the news tomorrow. But nice job. Remember, I talked to this young man. Are you the fastest guy on the roster? Well, you didn't have to be the fastest. Gets those little legs turning. And he, right on the pylon.
Will they go? No.
Oh,
I'd go for a single 2.
I wasn't serious about it.
Johnny Peck in for the point after. We'll come right back to the final 4:58. Jayhawks find the end zone. Kansas finally gets into the end zone. It took a while. About 55 minutes worth. Too long for Terry Allen and his staff. Came into the ball game 2-2. There are only 2 losses this year. No shame there to UCLA and Colorado. 2 highly ranked opponents. Then 1 on the road. That's been the problem for the program, though, over the last few years, they have not been able to win on the road. Only the 3rd win in 23 tries under Terry Allen in his 5th year. Brought back by Fagan on the short kickoff. Go rub it in. He's got it to the 40-yard line. College football Saturday on Fox Sports Net, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper makes the world taste better. By Kia Sarah, one company, countless solutions. And powered by Honda. Fog Allen, as in Fog Allen Fieldhouse. Ooh. This is tough. That's an old Chicago Stadium. They blew that after each goal.
Can't they do that with the fog rolling in?
Well, you're not in the city by the bay. Statue of Fog Allen in front of the Fieldhouse. White in there at quarterback, dumping it off. And boy, the tight end Smith is playing like it's the start of the game still. He's got a first down on the 11-yard reception. What a night for Trent Smith. 4 touchdown catches. That grab was his 10th of the evening.
It's a handshake from another good tight end right there, Jonathan Smith, former Kansas City Chief and special teams coach.
Arizona and Oregon State coming up in Beaver Country. Pac-10 matchup. Another tough year for both those squads. Trying to get back on track right after our matchup in Lawrence. Matt McCoy. Or check that. Jared Eustace, the reserve running back out of Wichita Falls, Texas. Taking it down to the 41, so some of the reserves getting the opportunity. Well, this young man came in with 12 catches on the year. He's got 10 tonight. 10's a season for some tight ends. But he did have 10 to the 12 over the last 3, so it has started to pick up in that direction. Eustace stays in the backfield. Second and a couple. Tough exchange, and White will hold it. He's got the 30. Eustace carried it out well and almost ran into White.
All it is the old option. You stick it in the belly, you're reading. See if they collapse, if that linebacker from the weak side flows.
Nate Hibble has been pacing the sideline, James, ever since the start of the second quarter. It's got to be pretty frustrating for the young man who transferred from Georgia.
But you know the difference between NFL quarterbacks and college quarterbacks? Baseball caps. In the pros, the guy can't get on the field soon enough to get his baseball cap on. Here, you know, you're backup quarterback, you wear your helmet on the sideline.
Eustace stays in there. And put down very quickly by Brock Tettleton, sophomore from Peabody, Missouri, for a rare loss in the second half of the Sooners. No doubt who our Dr. Pepper player of the game is tonight. Career night for Trent Smith. 4 grabs, 4 touchdown catches, 10 in total.
You hear him say, man, let me sit on the bench here. Roy Williams wasn't giving up his spot. He said, this is where I like to sit on the bench.
And Roy Williams talking about California. Native. Second and 13. After the loss, running the option with Eustace. Flag on the play.
I think we had a little holding by the wide receiver on the outside.
I don't think there's any doubt, though, as Brendan Weir made the hit, that we've seen a change in the direction of this Oklahoma program, who they're using a quarterback the rest of the way. The scores for Trent Smith.
Two. 3. 4. I only have 4 fingers on each hand. I'd have to go to the thumb if he gets another one.
And officially give him 11 catches. So Jason White with 18 completions. 11 went to Smith.
That's a new Oklahoma record for tight ends. Gordon Brown held the previous record. He caught 10 back in 1965.
White doing his best. Eric Crouch. It's tough to find a quarterback, though, who runs as well as Eric Crouch.
I mean, Eric Crouch is in a different category altogether. That's also a game record for receptions by a player, 11.
Homecoming for Kansas. You couldn't tell, though. Most of the Jayhawks departed. The Sooner fans, they made the trip. They're sticking around for the final 90 seconds. Third and about 11. And batted down. Good read up front. Tettleton, he made the stop with the penetration earlier in the series. Got his hand up.
Let Duncan kick one from about 48 yards here. Talked about a guy who had been slumping coming into the ball game. This could really elevate his confidence.
He's already got one tonight, a 38-yarder. This is going to be a 48-yard attempt.
Call it 47. It's right inside the 38-yard line.
Final minute of play. Plenty of leg. Did he hook it? Yes.
Don't say the words wide right there.
He hooked it just barely. The holder, the quarterback, Jason White.
Good snap. Watch him turn the laces away. Turn and swing through. He's leaning. Get that lean left. Oh.
You and I know the lead well.
Yep.
It's on the tee box. It's not on the football field.
Then our balls are going into somebody's pool in their backyard.
Or the woods, and we're not going to find them. Kansas has it at their own 31 for the final minute. Kinsey still in there at quarterback.
Oh.
There's no question the young man has a gun.
He's got some arm strength.
There's definitely, we saw it early in the game when he threw 60, 65 yards very effortlessly. Derek Mills, the intended target.
You think we might have a holding call?
Another flag is down, and it'd be fitting. Final snap of the game.
But what that tells you is
it
tells you that the defensive line from Oklahoma charging off the ball.
Holding on the offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Now, you've got to remember, there have been about 4 or 5 easy that have been declined by Oklahoma.
Now, if they're going deep every play, would you take this penalty, or would you decline it and give them one less down?
I want to get to the locker room as soon as possible.
I'm letting you be the head coach.
8 penalties, 61 yards, and if I'm Bob Stoops, I just want to get my guys in the locker room without any injuries.
Mario's like he's shaking his head going, no, I don't know that. You hear him say, run it? 8-8-8 was the call.
He's running it. And Kinsey.
If he gets a block from his wide receiver on the bottom, he takes that one to the house.
He's shy of the first down. Next week, a couple of Heisman hopefuls. Fox Sports Net College Football Saturday presented by Kyocera. First, Eric Crouch coming off a big day today, and I understand he got another long touchdown run of 90 yards. Texas Tech, Kingsbury, the quarterback, Deshaun Foster going for UCLA. Deshaun Foster with a record-breaking day for UCLA today while scoring 4 times in a 35-13 win over Washington. UCLA ranked 7th in the nation. Now, that could be the final snap of the contest. Maybe one more for Kansas.
Every time you say that, it doesn't happen. You say, not final snap of the quarter. You know they're going to throw it, and there's going to be 1 tick on the clock.
It's an honor to say it, though, in your presence.
They've got time for 3 plays here.
Well, not if he caught it.
It's 4th down now.
And you see Kama still out there. So many of the first teamers on the defensive side out there for the Oklahoma Sooners. They played like Nebraska. First teamers on special teams. They don't take them off the field. Very businesslike throughout the course of the contest.
I just saw Clint Bowen kind of give like a big swing. Go for the home run ball here.
They need a few home run balls. And that's what we're going to see.
Oh my, I've never seen. That's further than the ball that guy throws on that commercial.
Well, that'll pad the stats. Matt McCoy with the interception on the final play. And we've seen Mario Kinsey display the arm strength all night long, and that was just an exclamation point that he can't throw it a long way.
Good luck the rest of the way.
All Oklahoma, the defense again.
You guys do a good job, Jay. You guys do a great job. You make us work, everyone work.
Defense stood out. That's what Bob Stoops is talking about right now.
Bob Stoops say, he said, you guys made us work. And they really did. They made them work offensively. The very point they got. They had the short field. Thought Kansas played great intensity. This is a good team. Good team. They found a new quarterback maybe.
Well, next week, Texas Tech, Nebraska, Cal, UCLA. Check your local listings, games, times in your area. Coming up next, more college football, Arizona, Oregon State. For James Loft and Eric Clemens, I'm Joel Myers. Thanks for being with us. College Football Saturday has been a presentation of Fox Sports Net. So long, everybody, from Lawrence, Kansas.
Oklahoma, after a couple of bruising games, taking on Kansas. This is homecoming at Kansas. If Terry Allen's a conspiracy theorist, he's got to be thinking the administration is not there to help. Nate Hibble under pressure. Short hops one, then Hibble again. Short hopping, and Bob Stoops said no quarterback controversy, but Hibble having trouble.
Almost a snap here, and now you're going to see Hibble on the sidelines. Bring in Jason White.
Remember, he was banged up from the last couple of weeks.
He was indeed. He was 5 of 11 for 15 yards. So they bring Jason White in. He gave them a lift against Texas, and he gives them a lift again, Mark.
Finds Trent Smith for the touchdown over the shoulders. What a great catch. And White's going to hit. He's going to hit Smith again. Hooks up for another touchdown pass.
Rod, would you keep throwing to the tight end?
It's a good idea. It's worked so far. Trent Smith again. Why not?
Got his 3rd touchdown of the day. Oklahoma in control at 24-3. And do I hear 4? Yes, I do. The big tight end. Oh, it's like Keith Jackson has come back for Oklahoma. 38-10. The Sooners roll. Trent Smith, school record, 4 touchdowns. White, 18-29, $151 in those 4 touches. Texas